Well, long time no see, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like we haven't been live for, about 30 minutes now. So we got to go through. We got to fire up this live stream again. And Travis Kelce is hyperextending his knee at practice. Travis Kelce is now going to be plummeting down fantasy football drafts. So let's try to get a sense of what Travis Kelce is actually worth now in fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to be opting into the $250 buy-in Big Dog 2 draft on Underdog. I actually won the Big Dog tournament last year on Underdog, the main one, for $100,000. Now, I will say, if you are new to Underdog, do not be getting into $250 draft. Please stick to the $5 draft. It's going to be where you can have a lot of fun, where you can have a lot of practice, probably 4. But here, yours truly will be in the 250. So if you want to come out here and draft with us, ladies and gentlemen, not too late. We're probably getting in a few more $5 drafts on the live stream, both tonight as well over the next few days. But for now, we are going to be firing up, I want to say maybe two $250 drafts. We'll see what happens. But there are 3 spots open in this draft, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody wants to go through and join with us. But our first question coming out for Brody says, happy BR, Javonte Johnston for Judy and Montgomery. I think we're going to go ahead and take Judy and Montgomery here. I'd rather have Judy over Johnston easily. Montgomery and Javonte seem same tier. J-Max says that Kelsey doesn't play week 1. Should it start Sky over Godwin in the flex? So yeah, definitely Sky Moore will get the bump up if you are in a league where, all of a sudden have like 2, 3, 4 flex spots where Sky Moore can now look to be a low-end wide receiver 2 because you have no Travis Kelce. I'm excited to go through and play him, but here, if it's going to be Godwin or Sky, I think you have to go ahead. You have to take Godwin. Yeah, a great team, but I don't think you can slide Sky Moore ahead of any of those guys, even with no Travis Kelce, even if he's more exciting. Brody coming out says, would you trade Higgins, London, Lockett for AJ and Sky Moore? If it's going to be a league with only 1 flex spot and like 10 or fewer teams, then yes, I would. Chandler says, Mason, I am zined up right now, crushing Happy Dads and talking to my bro. Need you to settle this for me. Dallas Goedert, elite or not? If we call Dallas Goedert elite, at that point, we're just throwing around the word elite as if it means nothing, right? This is coming from someone who has Goddard as their most drafted tight end this year. But if we start calling Dallas Goedert elite, we lose all meaning of the word. Now, just in case you are just coming in, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the $250 draft room on Underdog Fantasy. So if you want to join with us, not too late. That's where we are. There's 1 spot left in this draft. Trailer Park Boys says, J.K. and Sanders or Brees and Khalil Herbert. Short term, I think J.K. and Sanders. Long term, I think Brees and Khalil. Okay, are we not going to be able to fill this, ladies and gentlemen? Are we going to have to go up in a $5 draft? Is that what y'all are telling me? Okay. We will hop into a $5 draft as we wait for that last spot to be filled. Hopefully we can, actually that's a good idea. Let's get a $5 draft here. That way we have a sense of where Travis Kelce is going to go before we actually have to take him in a $250 draft, This will probably help us out a little bit more. And actually, ladies and gentlemen, the $250 draft just filled. So we were actually go ahead and bounce from this one, go into that $250 draft, and oh dear God, this is exactly what I was wanting to avoid. We're at pick 12. What happens if Kelsey falls to us? I feel like every time breaking news happens like this, Underdog throws us at the spot where we have to be the person making the decision. Can I not just get pick 1 and have an easy life and get to see someone else stress about if they're taking Travis Kelce or not? Is that too hard? Now, no, I'm sorry. Next question coming out from, I believe, Oliver says 10-team standard league. PBR, we have Lamar, Walker, Miles Sanders, Jefferson, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Andrews, Taylor, Dobbins, Dotson, Brian Robbins. Great team. We have the Lamar and Andrews stack. We have elite, and I repeat, elite level wide receivers. I have no idea how the hell we got this team. Literally no idea. So yeah, that $5 draft, we are the 101, so we can go ahead and take Justin Jefferson. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what we're doing, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is where I'm drafting every single freaking day. And on Underdog, these are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last season. And of course, if you want to get into a draft, do not recommend the $250 draft if you're new. Definitely fire up the $5 puppy forward drafts. But now is the best time to get them on because they have the $5 tournament open for everybody. And also on Underdog, they have the site-wide special, Patrick Mahomes, more than less than half a total yard against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night. You have a flock special, Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night. And if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you get an additional mystery special pick'em. So 3 special pick'ems. I've never seen Underdog have 2 in the same week. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you all 3 of those, plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our premium content. And yeah, make sure you're taking advantage of that while you still can. But Antler Ice out here with us at Pick 2. Happy that you are on the other side of the board, my man. Happy that we don't have to deal with you sniping our picks. But thank you so much for coming out to draft with us. Now, Oliver says, I'm sorry, JT, 10-team non-PBR. We have Bijan, Madison, Lamb, Olave, Javonte at the flex. Sutton on the bench. Should I trade Kelsey, Javonte, and Sutton for Jacobs and Kincaid? Kelsey versus Jacobs non-PBR format's going to be close-ish. Javonte and Sutton for Kincaid, you're definitely going to be losing. So I'd say no. I'd be keeping the Kelsey side. What are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen? Dear God, are you freaking kidding me? Can someone else say Kelsey so I don't have to think about this? What's the most recent report? ACL believed to be intact. Is that not the most encouraging thing you've ever heard? Going through tests to determine, spam the chat. Can I take Travis Kelce here? We're going to take Nick Chubb with our first selection. The other selection, can I take Travis Kelce? We get yes, 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 no. Yes, no, no. Some crazy people saying Kelsey Cup. No way in hell we're doing that. Yes, yes, Kelsey. It looks like a lot of people saying yes, a lot of people saying no. If this was maybe your regular fantasy football league where there was no tournament aspect to it, maybe we go ahead and pass on Travis Kelce and just don't have to worry about the risk and we take Barkley instead. With this being a tournament on Underdog, where this opened up earlier today and some teams did take Kelsey at the very top, we will go ahead. We will take Kelsey at 13 and send up a prayer that we are not regretting this. In reality, we will be regretting this. I'll tell you that right now. Ho-Ho coming out says 12-team full PBR where we have Allen, CMC, Walker, Waddle, Mike Williams, Pitts, Dobbins, and then on the bench, we have Swift, Burks, Elijah Moore, Elijah Mitchell, Devon, A-Chain, Roche. Oh my God, beautiful spot. Love that down there on the bench, we are just focusing in on high upside options, specifically at running back. Rashee Rice, we're going to get the clarity on his situation right away on Thursday night. If Rashee Rice looks like he's going to be a clear backup option over there in KC, I think we drop him, pick up another player off the waiver wire. Great team, though. ER7 says, if you had one shot or opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in the moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Good question, my man. It's a good question. Some motivation for us going out there and live streaming 8 hours every day now. Now, MIT Dro says, 14-team at PBR, double flex. Drafting 14th is a 0 RB tank tight end strategy, the best option. Likely Lamb, Cup, Amon-Ra, Adams are the 1-2 turn. Hopkins, Moore, 3 and 4, or Herbert. I don't want to lock into Hopkins, Moore at the 3-4 turn. If it is a 14-team format with double flex spots, I am completely fine if we want to go through and we want to go with Lamb and St. Brown or Lamb and Adams out the gate. I don't think you can be taking Cup over those wide receivers, though. And stay flexible at the 3-4 turn. Ho says, PBR, Sky or Dotson this week. We're going to go Dotson, even if Sky's a little more appealing than it was previously. Trailer Bar Boy says, let's take a minute and realize how hard you work now. I mean, it's fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is what I would be. If this wasn't my job, my dream would be to talk fantasy football all day, which is already what we do. The only work part of it is, hopefully that my voice does not go out. If my voice goes out, then it gets ugly quick. But Gavin, long time member of the flock, coming out, says, always love your streams, man. Who would you start? 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. Running back, Bijan, Dobbins, Rashad White. We're definitely going to go Bijan and Dobbins. Dobbins, great matchup against the Texans. Wide receiver, St. Brown, Smith, DJ Moore, Kirk, Ayuk. We're going to be going with Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore at wide receiver. And then for the flex spot, I'm actually probably going to go ahead and take Rashad White. Brandon Ayuk, going to be in a low-scoring game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Christian Kirk, I would like the clarity on how he's used with Calvin Ridley in that offense. So yeah, I don't know if we want to be going those guys week 1. But I'll fight you naked. Obviously, the best name in this YouTube live stream says 12-team PBR, Burrow, Eckler, James Cook, A.J. Brown, Olave, Njoku, Dotson. And then on the bench, we have Pierce, Ayuk, Johnston, Charbonnet, Adam Thielen, Jefferson. Thoughts and any moves? A drop Adam Thielen doesn't really have the upside to make a difference here in a league where you have only one flex. There's no reason for us to be rostering like 7 wide receivers. Drop Thielen for a running back. And if we can trade like Dotson and Ayuk to go get like T. Higgins to stack with Burrow in the flex, I think that'd be very interesting, assuming we only have one flex spot. Angus says 12-team PBR. We got Devonta for DJ and Penny. What are your thoughts? I think it's a great move, my man. Great move. Lucas says, yo, 12-team app PBR to start 3 wide receivers went Diggs, Lamb, Allen, Walker, Najee, Waller. Oh, beautiful. I'm surprised he got Waller that late. Sanders, Johnson, Charbonnet, Adam Thielen, KJ, Zay Jones, wide receiver 3 is lacking. And for that reason, I'm fine in this format in particular. If you want to go through and roster the bench wide receivers, it doesn't matter. We have the elite level quarterback wide receiver stack with Allen and Diggs. We have a lot of production at running back wide receiver, so we do have that flex option covered. We have Waller as well. We just turn the waiver wire and see if we can find a wide receiver 3 here in a great spot. Chevy Guy coming out. We got Jeep Guy now. Chevy Guy says, Happy BR, Sky Moore, or Pacheco for the flex. We're going to be going with Isaiah Pacheco. I understand why Sky Moore is a lot more appealing than he was previously, but like Sky Moore had fewer than like 100 receiving yards last year as a rookie. Like, it's hard to go through and like say that this is someone that we need to be starting week 1. Okay. Andrews goes 30, and Moheeks coming out says, traded Ramondre Kirk for Diggs Watson. What do you think? Ramondre to Diggs, massive upgrade. Christian Kirk to Deshaun Watson. Who the hell cares? Great deal. Great deal. BT says, full BBR, need to start 2 this week. Javonte, Dion, Quentin Johnston, Jalen Warren, Devon Achane, Rashee Rice. Love the content base. And thank you so much, my man. And then we go Javonte, Deion Jackson. I'm definitely not, pumped about Deion Jackson's role week 1. I don't know what it's going to look like, but at least he has upside where we know Warren's the backup. Quentin Johnson right now is like the wide receiver 4 in Los Angeles. Lamar off the board at 33. This is a $250 draft, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be saying my thought process until we're actually on the clock. I don't want the team at the 310, 311, 309 to be knowing what we're thinking. Okay, what do they do? ETN 34. Y'all know I love ETN. I think we're going to take Ramondre here, and then we want to stay balanced with the wide receiver. Spam the chat. I'll let y'all pick who we get at wide receiver. Do y'all want DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Mike Williams, or Drake London here? Who do you want, ladies and gentlemen? Looks like most people, at least I'm seeing initially, are saying Christian Watson. We have some DJ Moores. We have a lot of Watson. We're going to go ahead. We will take Watson here. Okay, let's swing this back around. Oh, I do not like this team. Why did I listen to y'all about Kelsey? Why did I listen? But Aaron coming out says 10-team full BBR, 6 points for each touchdown. We can start up to 5 wide receivers. Hopefully we built around wide receiver. We have Mahomes, Diggs, Waddle, Watson, Bijan. Traded JSN for running back 2 in Pacheco, Goddard, Mike Williams, Evans. And then on the bench, we have Brian Robinson, Handcuff, Gibson, Tony Ingram. What do you think of the trade? JSN for Isaiah Pacheco, if I'm reading this correctly, is a deal that I'm fine in a couple different formats. But I do not like this deal specifically in a league where we can start 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes. I understand maybe how it makes sense today going and getting the starting running back for the Chiefs and selling an injured rookie wide receiver. But in the long term, I think it's not going to be a good move. Tesla says, yo, Mason, who would you flex? Kirk, Sutton, Tony, or Dion? Been killing it. Thank you so much, my man. I think we will go Kirk. I mean, Sutton's a little more appealing now that you have the Judy injury. But it is what it is. ER7 says, I don't think Mason's. I knew the reference. My man, are you kidding me? Now, Trajan coming out says, 10-team standard full BBR. Kelsey, St. Brown, Wilson, Keenan. Love the Wilson, St. Brown pairing. Keenan, Pierce, Javonte, Justin Fields. We have Monster and Javonte. Went 0 RB. Do I need to trade? You don't need to trade, but we need to make sure we're rostering as many running backs as possible. Just make sure we don't have like Adam Thielen, like Jalen Hyatt type wide receivers on the bench. Spend as many bench spots on running back. I mean, if you go 0 RB and have the elite tight end and the elite level wide receivers, the goal is to win at running back off the waiver wire and crush everybody else where we're elite there. So yeah, make sure you are rostering as many of those high upside running backs as we can. Now, Samuel coming out says 10-team super flex. We have Lawrence, Bijan, JT, Jamal, Charbonnet, Evan Hull, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Hollywood Johnson, Burks, Elijah Moore, Njoku, and Ferguson. Who the hell is our quarterback two? If this is a super flex league, my man, I don't see a quarterback two. We need a QB two. Do anything you can to trade for one. Even if it's as gross like sending Drake London to go get Sam Howell, you kind of have to do. You're not going to be competitive if we don't have a second quarterback here, my friend. Okay. Now, Christian Kirk goes 18. In this draft, we are needing wide receivers to make it back to us, but I actually like the wide receiver values laid a little bit more than what we have with running back now in underdog drafts at this point. But ladies and gentlemen, we are one like away from hitting 300 likes in this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. We are going to end up live streaming for another 8 hours today. I mean, we've already been live for 5. We're going to go for another 3. So if you have not done so, hit that like button. And of course, if you want to get in a draft with us, it's never too late. We are drafting every single night on Underdog Fantasy. If you're new, definitely don't recommend you getting a $250 tournament, getting a $5 tournament. They're best ball drafts to no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last season. Now is the best time for you to be getting on Underdog Fantasy because they have a week 1 special pick'em. Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard against the Detroit Lions Thursday night. A Flock exclusive special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard for Josh Allen against the Jets on Monday night. And if you are new to Underdog, an additional mystery special pick'em. I've never seen Underdog have 2 pick'ems the same week, let alone a pairing of 3. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that while you still can. Promo code FLOCKS can get you all 3. But Nate says full BBR 7th pick. We have Fields, Eckler, Akers, Olave, Wilson, Schultz, DJ Moore. And then on the bench, Hollywood, Brian Robinson. Play Brian Robinson over Akers this week based on the matchup. P. Ryan, backup tight ends. JT on the IR, a couple of high upside running backs. I'm actually fine rostering 2 tight ends here. I like that we don't have a backup quarterback when we have Fields. I like that we have DJ Moore and Justin Fields stacked together. In terms of trades, I don't see many. The only thing I'd say is make sure we're starting Brian Robinson over Cam Akers week 1. Pitcher ended says 8-team standard PBR. Do I slam a running back's RP Kelsey? Hopefully not RP Kelsey, but yes, slam RBs, my friend, in an 8-team league. And an elite level quarterback, elite level quarterback and tight ends if we can get one. Just generally 8-team league, everybody's going to have enough wide receiver production to go around. Okay, Herbert, Burrow, both off the board. Let's swing this back around, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I do not want to be talking about our thought process with our picks until we are actually on the clock. This is a $250 draft, ladies and gentlemen. Once we're on the clock, I'll say what we're thinking, but not until then. Okay. B Money, what are they doing? And BT coming out says, thoughts on the team? Feel like we have too many rookies. We have Herbert, Ingram, Chase Olave, London, JSN, Hyatt, Quentin Johnson, Rashee Rice. The running back, we have Gibbs, Javonte Warren, Devon Achane, Roshan Johnson. Yeah, the issue is if you look at these rookie wide receivers at the bottom end of the team, right? We know they're not going to give us anything at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, we're going to be in a spot where we can't make waiver wire moves. Like, after week 1, after week 2, are we really going to say, oh, yeah, drop Jalen Hyatt, drop Rashee Rice. They didn't do anything week 1. No, the expectation is they don't do anything week 1. So it kind of puts you in like a golden cage where you can't really, make any moves. You're kind of are handicapped on what we can actually do with the waiver wire. So I would go ahead. I would look to drop both Jalen Hyatt and Rashee Rice. I'm completely fine rostering like Quentin Johnston, JSN with the long-term upside that they have. I'd pick up one backup tight end, and I'd pick up also another running back. If McLaurin's hopeful for week 1, we're going to take McLaurin. I'm going to go McLaurin and Godwin. I think I'm a little bit more inclined to go Godwin than Pickens based off the rumors that we have a potential Mike Evans deal. Evans is gone. Godwin is just flooded with targets here. Now, Randall says London, DJ Moore, Sky Moore, or Miles Sanders in the flex week 1. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take the guaranteed touches of Sanders. Good matchup against Atlanta. Neil says 6-point passing touchdown format. Burrow over Lamar in the 4th. No, you go Burrow over Field, 6-point passing touchdown league, not over Lamar. LeBron coming out says 10-team full BBR where we have Lawrence, Bijan, Mostert, CD, Diggs, Hawkinson, Olave. And then on the bench, Pierce, Ayuk, Herbert, Sky, Burks, Charbonnet, Tyler Algier. Phenomenal team top to bottom. If we were looking to go ahead and do anything, hell, I don't even know what we can do. We could trade for ETN, like it's some combination of like Damian Pierce and Raheem Mostert somehow. I think that'd be great. Give the upgrade to running back when we have all the depth in the world. Then at the same time, make the consolidated bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Now, Alfonso coming out says 10-team full BBR, only one flex. I have Mahomes at quarterback. Running back, we have CMC, Josh Jacobs. Wide receiver, we have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. Flex, Kirk. And then on the bench, we have JT, Ayuk, Brian Robinson, Schultz, Elijah Mitchell, Burks, and Kareem Hunt. What do we think we should do in grade? Thanks, Mr. No, thank you so much, my man, for being a long-time member of the flock. Love that we have Mahomes here. We have Hawkinson. I think one initial thing that we can say is if we have TJ Hawkinson, we can start every single week regardless of matchup. If we could potentially approach the Travis Kelce owner who's not going to have Kelsey good to go week 1, or most likely won't have Kelsey good to go week 1. He hasn't been ruled out yet, but I think we can assume. And we say, hey, man, I'll give you Dalton Schultz and DJ Moore. Give me a wide receiver I like a little bit more. Hey, man, I'll give you, Dalton Schultz and Brandon Ayuk. Just give me a slight wide receiver upgrade. Hey, man, I'll give you Dalton Schultz and Brian Robinson. Just give me a slight running back upgrade. That's one interesting thing that we can do. And if you don't want to go down that road, I will say, in general, we can definitely afford to package together like a bench option like Brandon Ayuk and DJ Moore in the starting lineup to go get an upgrade there. Just because, at the end of the day, we have so much depth with that team. And we're in a very good spot where we don't have to roster a backup quarterback or tight end when we have Mahomes and Hawkinson. Okay. Now, Sanders off the board at 69. Addison goes 70. Blake says, rate the team. We have Burrow, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Connor, Gibbs, Ingram, Sanders. And then on the bench, Walker, Cooks, Kirk. Combine those. Cousins, Mitchell, Tyler Boyd, and Darnell Mooney. I'm going to cut Mooney. We can find a running back with more upside off the waiver wire, assuming it's a 12 or fewer team league. Great team. A team that you have freaking Kenneth Walker on the bench right now. Obviously, it's hard to complain with. Couple different things. One, I would start Kenneth Walker over Miles Sanders in the flex spot. Actually, I'd start Kenneth Walker over James Conner. I think you actually would rather have Miles Sanders over James Conner this week as well. Okay. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Tio says, are you worried about Kelsey long-term, my first-round pick? Yes, I'm worried about Kelsey. I think with Kelsey misses 2 to 3 weeks. If you were just now coming in, I'd take Kelsey here at 13 because this is a tournament-style draft contest where we are trying to chase the highest ceiling possible. So we go Kelsey, but in your regular fantasy football league, I may take Barkley over Kelsey now. I may take Pollard over Kelsey. Neil says 4-point passing touchdown, Watson and Elmo. Who the hell is Elmo? For Burrow or Trevor Lawrence. If I knew who Elmo was, that'd be a lot easier to answer. Someone in the live chat, let me know who Elmo is. Holden says Jamal or Pacheco or Swift this week. Oh, definitely going to go Jamal, my man. Miller banged up. And at the same time, we have, I mean, Kamara's suspended. I think Jamal's a must-start guy. Everybody in the chat saying Elijah Moore. But people don't know. I mean, this guess. Considering we don't know who Elmo is, you probably want the Burrow side. Okay. Rashad White goes off the board at pick 80. Swing this back around. Interesting values that are potentially going to make it to us here. What is this team doing? They go Akers. Are they potentially? No, they're not on auto. Any team that would have been on auto would have taken Kelsey. I mean, if any team looks like it's on auto, it's us. Swift 82. We're going to go Connor. I mean, hate, and I repeat, hate the offense, but it is what it is. And we're going to go Kamara too, just because if you look at running backs late in drafts now in comparison to where they were months ago, it's so much harder to find running backs that you like now in comparison to a month ago. At least in the late rounds. The teardrop's going to happen a lot quicker than we're used to. So we'll go ahead, we'll double tap both running backs, and we'll find wide receiver values late. Okay. Eddie says, would you trade Lamar and Evans for Tyreek and Deshaun Watson in a super flex format? So is the points per game gap bigger from Tyreek to Evans or to Lamar and Watson? Super fair deal, up to you. Wide receiver, we have London, Watson, Tony, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis. We have Allen and Russ as our quarterbacks. Running backs are Chubb, Gibbs, Connor, Dalvin. I honestly think it's very close and up to you, my friend. Very close and up to you. Alexander says, 10-team at BBR. I have Burrow, Henry, Mixon, Kupp, Mike Williams, Kelsey, Akers at the flex. Should I trade Mixon for T. Higgins? We also have Ayuk and Zeke on the bench. Not in a 10-team league. If it was a 12-team league, multiple flex spot league, then sure. Not in a 10-team league here. Platypus coming out and says 12-team at BBR format where we have Pollard, Pacheco, Warren, Damian Harris, Devon Achane, and Roshan Johnson at running back. Do we trade one of my strong wide receivers or Burrow to upgrade? Should we sell Pacheco high? I mean, Pacheco's kind of won the offseason, my man. I don't necessarily know if we want to be selling Pacheco right now. We definitely need another running back, I mean, long-term. But short-term, I'd rather sit on our hands and see what we get with their roles week one, right? We can start Pollard, Pacheco week one, and then get a much better sense of the roles of all those other running backs on the team. Anthony says, 12-team PBR, pick 5. Should I get Tyreek if available? If not, Eckler, Bijan, loving the content, man. Thank you so much. I mean, 12-team league, if there are going to be multiple flex spots, there you can go ahead and take Tyreek Hill. In a league with only one flex spot, we're most likely going to go with a running back, my friend. Okay. So we have a run on wide receivers happening here, round 8. We really need to get wide receiver value on the way back around, ladies and gentlemen. We really need to. Now, Ferg says 12-team PBR league, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. We have Goff, Tua at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Lamb, London, Mike Williams. Moore. Tight end, we have Andrews, Javonte Brees, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Jameson Williams. Is this solid? Yeah, we can play the matchups with those guys early on at quarterback. We have the elite level tight end. We don't need a backup tight end. Yes, the only thing I'd say is if we can't roster Jameson Williams on the IR, I would prefer to go ahead and honestly just cut Jameson Williams, pick up another high upside running back. And we have so much depth here. If we could potentially take like DJ Moore and David Montgomery and go get either an elite level running back or a wide receiver, I think that'd be nice. Ryan says, could you please check out my roster submission now that I have to make a tight end change before Thursday? I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to get to as many roster submissions as I can after this, my friend. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you I've not forgot about those. Zay says, a 14-team 5th pick. We have Hurts, Gibbs, Mostert, Hill, Devonta Smith, George Kittle, Dotson. And then on the bench, Deion Jackson, Chark, Gainwell, Mechie, Musgrave, Love, and Gerald Everett. No world in which we should be rostering 3 tight ends, even in a 14-team league here, my man. Take your call. Either take Everett or take Musgrave. Drop the other guy. I'm fine with us rostering a backup quarterback, even if we have Jalen Hurts, because it's a 14-team league. But yeah, the main thing is just drop one of those tight ends and pick up another running back off the waiver wire. I like the starting lineup in the short term, though. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 500 likes on this live stream. I know you probably hit that like button with our live stream earlier today. I think we broke the all-time like record for our live stream this afternoon. But don't forget to on this one, just because you did on the last one. Now, Joshua coming out says 12-team ESPN regular league where we have Burrow, Barkley, Jamal, Higgins, Mike Williams, Kelsey, Pittman, Hall, JSN, Khalil Herbert, Elijah Moore, Elijah Mitchell, Dawson Knox, Alan Lazard. What are your thoughts? Obviously, we only have Knox for the short term to fill in for Kelsey. Long term, don't need him. Short term, we have Jamal to play, which will be nice considering the fact that we're going to have to wait for the long term Breece Hall breakout. We have JSN for the long term as well. We have Burrow stacked with Higgins. I really like this team. Obviously, it's unfortunate what we've seen with Dalvin Cook signing with the Jets, as well as the Travis Kelce injury today. But I do think that you have a lot of upside there and a well-balanced roster. Love it. Torsten says, did you choose an Ironman competition yet? Maybe come to Germany to meet in person. I actually have chose the Ironman race that we're going to do. We're going to do the Ironman in June in France, my friend. And quick side note with the Ironman training. I actually swam 2 miles for the first time this morning preparing for it. But Abbott coming out says $150 league, 12 teams, 6-point passing touchdown, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, super flex. Went from pick 11 going Lamar. Thank God we got an elite level quarterback. Diggs, Olave, Waddle, Carr, Walker, Sanders, JT, Johnson, Kyler, Bateman, and Devon H. I really hope that we can put Kyler on the IR. If we're having to roster Kyler on the bench, I'd rather even just go through and trade him for someone like Sam Howell, literally just anybody, because it would be very difficult to make waiver wire moves, and we may be in a spot where we need quarterback production early. I don't even know if Kyler comes back this year, especially if we have JT on the same squad, just having 2 guys that are going to give us nothing at the beginning of the year. Really hoping you put one of these guys on the IR. But outside of that, I really do like the team in terms of the top end starting lineup. We have elite wide receiver production. We have great running backs. Obviously, a stud quarterback holding us down. So I do like the team, my friend. Now, I think we're going to go ahead, take Dylan as our 5th RB here. Just take one before the teardrop happens because we know that teardrop's going to happen quick now. And we'll go Romeo Doubs and just go all in on this Green Bay Packers offense and essentially say, okay, well, if Jordan Love is better than people expect, then we can go ahead and crush this league. If not, we're going to be in a world of pain, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Love, my hopes are on you. Sin City Raiders coming out says 12-team PPR 1 quarterback league. We have Watson, Bijan, Jacobs, Gibbs, Deion Jackson. Wide receiver, we have Deontay, DJ Moore, Dotson, Sutton. Tight end, we have Hawkinson, 1 flex. What are you thinking? Thanks, Mason. No, thank you so much, my friend. Here, wide receiver depth's not going to matter a ton. So I like that we don't go out there and spend too much of the position. Great team. I think we've done a good job optimizing for the lineup and the settings that we are playing in. If we could potentially take like DJ Moore and a super small piece like Deion Jackson and sell him for Amari Cooper to get the stack with Watson, we would. But outside, we don't need to do anything. Isaiah says trade Higgins and Connor for Madison and Aaron Jones. I'd rather have Madison over Connor. Aaron Jones versus Higgins, depending on your roster. I think it's a fair deal, depending on your roster. The Fiji Pani, long time member of the flock, out here saying, don't roast my team, got drunk before the draft. My man, what are we doing here? Come on, what are we doing here, my man? Okay. But quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones. Running back, we have Pollard, Dalvin, Javonte, Swift, Zeke, and James Robinson. What were you drinking? Now, I'm not a medical expert, but I would say if you took James Robinson in your draft, my friend, whatever you were drinking, you probably should not continue to do so. Should probably call it a day and say that will be the last day that I have whatever the hell you had. Wide receiver, Adams, Metcalf, Evans, Sutton, Moore, Van Jefferson, tight end, Kittle. Should we trade Adams for Chubb straight up, or do you have any other ideas? Thank you, Mason. No, thank you so much. And of course, I'm sorry for giving you a hard time here, my man. But in terms of us going through and selling Adams for Chubb, I understand the thought process where on paper we're maybe a little bit weak at RB. I'll say if this is a league where you only have one flex spot, let's go ahead and pull the trigger. I mean, we at that point will have so much running back depth that I definitely will want to be looking to go ahead and sell like the Dalvin Cook or Javonte Williams in a package with like Cortland Sutton to go get a long-term wide receiver upgrade. But assuming that it's a it's a league with 2 or fewer flexes, let's go ahead and let's sell Adams for Chubb. Let's then see if we can take Daniel Jones and like Cortland Sutton, get a wide receiver upgrade, and then Javonte Williams and Mike Evans get another wide receiver upgrade. Still a lot of value on the team. It's just what we're doing, James Robinson, my man. Now, Unknown T coming out says, hey, Mason, half PPR. We have Tua, Etienne, Madison, Kupp, Chase, Waller, Kirk. And then on the bench, we have Bigsby, Charbonnet, Dillon, Burks, Flowers, Van Jefferson. Any changes? No, I like it. I mean, it would be great to have Tyreek instead of Kupp, of course, especially with Tua, but assuming we couldn't have pulled that off. I'd trade Waller for Hawkinson if we could get him. It's going to be tough at the beginning of the season, though, because I guess we'll slide Kirk into our starting lineup over Kupp. And then we'll probably put, I guess, Van Jefferson in the flex spot. No? I mean, really tough spot to be in, my friend. Egg says, 10-team BBR, we have Herbert, Gibbs, Madison, Diggs, Kupp, Higgins. And then on the bench, we have London, Hollywood, Khalil Herbert, Sky Moore, Addison, Warren, and Elijah Moore. What are your thoughts? Elite wide receivers, running backs with a lot of upside. We have a lot of wide receiver depth. Once we get cut back, then at that point, we're going to be looking to sell London in a package with one of those running backs like Madison and try to get a upgrade where we can at RB. But we're going to have to wait until we get Cooper cut back so we have a little more flexibility with the team, my man. Okay. Rodgers goes 129. Would have been interesting to take Lazard and Rodgers at the turn here. And RM, always happy to have you. You know that, my man. Blake says, you recommend Amari over Ridley. Nobody else on the planet would agree with me, but I do have Amari and Ridley in the same tier. I probably would go Ridley earlier in your draft just because you probably could get Amari on the way back around if you really like Amari. Okay, let's see what this team's doing here. Wonder if you get it. They go Elijah Mitchell, so we will go ahead and, ladies and gentlemen, on Underdog, this is where these depth wide receivers are actually going to move the needle. This is where these depth wide receivers are actually going to make a difference. I mean, in your regular redraft format, I honestly don't even think you should be rostering guys like Nico Collins, but we don't have access to the waiver wire here. Nico Collins is a random blow-up week. He does slide into our starting lineup. We have to start 3 of these wide receivers each and every week. So let's go ahead and let's pull the trigger on a couple depth options here. Nico Collins at 132 and Allen Lazard at 133. But Captain says, just got out of a 14-team league with 6 points per passing touchdown. We only have 1 flex, but we start 3 wide receivers. So depth is definitely going to matter here, my man. Quarterback, we have Hurts and Love. Fine rostering 2 quarterbacks in a 14-team league. Wide receiver, we have Chase Smith to pair up with Hurts. Godwin, Addison, Zay. Running back, we have Javonte, Montgomery, Penny, Foreman, Fournette. Tight end, we have Njoku. Beautiful spot. If this is a 14-team format where it's a full PPR league, we start 3 wide receivers and have a flex, we are going to be highly incentivized, my friend, to go through and build around the wide receiver position. So to go through and get those elite level wide receivers early, to stack them with our quarterback as well, I think it makes a ton of sense. 14-team format, completely fine going through and rostering the backup quarterback and backup tight end. I like it a lot. Bryson says, Zamir's ADP is 200. Do you think this is too low as a backup? Probably not, right? The thing is with ADP, like pick 200 and pick like 160, pretty much the same thing. Like the difference between the value of say, a player at pick 200 versus a player at 150 is probably a lot closer than a player from 20 to 15 in ADP, if that makes sense. So I'm never going to look at an AP of 20 and go, oh my God, this is crazy. This guy should easily be at 180. You know, there's no real difference. Now, Ukes Oak coming out says 10-team BBR 1 flex. We have Mahomes, Montgomery, White, Tyreek, Wilson, Keenan, Andrews at tight end. And then on the bench, we have Brees, Samaje, Quentin Johnson, Kirk, Sky Moore, Laporta. Thoughts and tips. We have Andrews. We don't need a backup tight end. Let's drop Sam Laporta. Pick up another running back with upside. If Sky Moore is the blow-up game on Thursday night, we're going to package him together with Rachaad White, try to get an upgrade at RB. Yeah, just general, I think we're super strong tight end, wide receiver, and quarterback here. So I'm going to be rostering as many running backs as we can on the bench. But Brian says, I have Olave and Madison. I get Cooper Kupp and Rachaad White. Olave to Kupp, lateral move. Madison to Rachaad White, slight downgrade from me. We have Adams, Chase, Watson at wide receiver. So if we have Adams and Jamar Chase, then we can afford to make this deal. I was prepared to say no, just keep Olave. But if you have Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase, you don't need wide receiver production, but the upside of Cooper Kupp's just freaking nuts. Neil says, thought everybody knew Elmo was more my being. No, I'm sorry, my man. Hopefully I know going forward now. Now, Cole says, 12-team full BBR. We have Lawrence, Henry, Brian Robinson, Jefferson, Godwin, Dotson, Andrews. On the bench, Goff, Algier, Deontay, Kirk, Boyd, and Deion Jackson. If we could package together, say, Brian Robinson and Deontay Johnson and go get a running back upgrade after this week, I think that'd be very interesting. I think that Brian Robinson has a really good spot against the Cardinals where you can actually look to sell him high going into week 2. But if that is not Brian Robinson, instead that is Bijan Robinson, then you really have nothing we can do. If you're sitting with Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson, just buy some flowers and send them to your league mates. Okay. So let's move this over. Luke Musgrave off the board at 153. So we're definitely looking at taking Jordan Love here. I mean, we've already gone all in on this Green Bay Packers offense. We had actually looked to go Derek Carr as well, considering the fact that, this is the league where we take Kamara, right? So we get the stack with Carr and Jordan Love and double tap the quarterback position, but Schultz falls. And we're not going to overthink it. Let's just go ahead and let's get our quarterbacks. Regular redraft league, you're not taking 2 of these guys, of course. And regular redraft league should never wait this long. You probably shouldn't wait this long regardless. But best ball, you can go through and you can draft 3 quarterbacks late and send up a prayer that it makes sense. Send up a prayer that it works out. Okay. Austin says, at 7 in this with you. What are the thoughts on the team? Let's go ahead and let's check out Austin's team. Austin, you probably have a team that's way better than ours. Bijan, Derrick Henry at the gate. Amari, DJ Moore there. Burrow 55, obviously tough spot whenever we have no Chase or Higgins, but that kind of value, we have to pull the trigger. Taylor 66, I think is fine considering the fact we have Bijan Henry out the gate. Pittman 79, great value. Khalil Herbert 90. Evan Ingram 103. Boyd paired up with Burrow. Great team, way better than mine. I would love to trade you teams if you're willing to, my man. Love to. Blake coming out says a 12-team PPR where we have Burrow, Barkley, Chubb, Godwin, Mike Williams, Komet, and then Gibbs as the flex. On the bench, we have Judy, Pickens, Pirine, McKinnon, MVS, Jeff Wilson Jr. If Jeff Wilson Jr. is on your bench and not your IR, go ahead and cut him. I really don't want to be handicapping the waiver wire moves that we can make at the beginning of the year just so we can roster him getting us 0 points for the first 4 weeks. We're going to be waiting until Judy has a breakout. Once Judy is healthy, then at that point, we're going to package together Pickens and Komet for a tight end upgrade. But we're going to have to be sitting on our hands and waiting until Judy is healthy so we have the wide receiver depth first. And yeah, there's no reason in hell to be rostering Jeff Wilson Jr. unless you can put him on your IR. Now, A coming out says, have BBR, Pittman, Javonte, Charbonnet, or Sky in the flex. I'm going to go Pittman. Most people will tell you Sky. Now, Grubon's coming out. Happy to see you, my man, saying 12-team BBR. We have Lamar and Andrews stacked up. Beautiful. Chubb, Swift at running back, Lamb, Williams, wide receiver, Lockett in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Dotson, Sky Moore, Gabe Davis, Elijah Mitchell, Tajay Spears, Zamir White. Love your stuff, man, and thanks. No, thank you so much, my man. And this is the perfect example of the team that we are going after. I mean, we have an elite quarterback. We have an elite tight end stacked up together. We have a well-balanced roster at the very top end with running back, wide receiver, and we are prioritizing upside at running back, wide receiver on the bench. Literally the perfect example of a team, my man. And I don't know if we're going through and change anything there. Okay. But AS says, Hurts, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift, Dallas Goedert, starting in my Dynasty 11, start 11, Superflex. Is this too many Eagles? Who to move and who to target? In a start 11 league, it's fine. Start 11 league, let's make that one consolidated bet that the Eagles are the best offense in the NFL this next season. And if they are, we win the league. Dub KJ coming out says, Yo, Mason, what do you think, my buddy? 10-team BBR where we have at quarterback Jalen Hurts. Running back, we have Akers, Walker, Gibson. Wide receiver, we have St. Brown, Ridley, Dotson. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. We also have Sutton. And then Pittman, Elijah Moore, Damian Harris. Okay, this is a team with a ton of depth. I like having Tony to see what he's going to do at the beginning of the season. We have a lot of wide receiver depth where if we could go through and possibly like patch together Jahan Dotson and another piece to get an upgrade in the starting lineup, that makes sense. Like if we could go like Pittman and Dotson and go get Devonta Smith to pair up with Hurts, or Dotson and Rashad White, or Pittman and Rashad White, just generally 10-team league, one flex spot. That's what we're trying to do. Make those 2-for-1 deals, upgrade in the start inside the starting lineup. And I think specifically with this team, we're going to be looking to sell one of those depth wide receivers to see if we can get an upgraded Devonta Smith in a package there, my friend. Okay. Now, Curtis Samuel off the board, 175. Let's swing this back around. Honestly, if we have Kelsey here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to draft 3 tight ends. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but we take Kelsey at 13. We get an elite level ceiling, but we may need to cover some weeks at the beginning of the season. And our team is officially trash. This is such a bad team. What the hell was I doing here? It would be way worse if it was Best Ball Mania or a puppy tournament. It's better because it's a smaller stakes. I'm sorry, smaller field, high stakes tournament on Underdog. But still do not love this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go Dawson Knox and Hunter Henry. Okay, and we will bounce to our next draft. We're going to take, actually, no, we have another. Okay, we're good. We're good. I was worried because I thought that was it, who we were getting at wide receiver. We're going to be able to take another wide receiver as well. I actually like the team then. But let's go ahead. Let's get into another draft. And this will be probably the last $250 draft that we can ever do. Did it already fill? Did the Big Dog 2 already fill? Yes, it did. Okay, well, that was the last one we got to get in. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We are going to hop in a Puppy 4 tournament then, ladies and gentlemen. This is the tournament that I would recommend for anybody that's new to Underdog Fantasy to get in. This is the $5 buy-in. This is the tournament that we actually had a member of the flock win last year for $75,000. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's fire this up. Definitely, I mean, not nearly as stressful as the last one. So, we're going to be in here at Big 5. We don't have to be in a spot where we feel like we're forced to take Kelsey there at the beginning of the second round. Okay. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get into a draft with us, whether that is today, tomorrow, the next day, we're going to be doing a ton of drafts on the live stream tonight. We are drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is where we draft every single night. Now is the best time to get on Underdog because they have the Puppy 4 out, that $5 buy-in that I would highly recommend to everybody. And also, now's the best time to get on Underdog Fantasy because they have a special Patrick Mahomes pick'em week 1 against the Lions, more than less than half a total yard. They have an additional special pick'em Josh Allen, more than less than half a total yard against the Jets on Monday night. And if you're new to Underdog, you also get an additional mystery pick'em special on top of that. I've never seen Underdog have two special pick'ems the same week, let alone 3. So please make sure you're taking advantage. Also, promo code FLOCK is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $100 our 2023 fantasy football rankings, and all of our premium content on flockfantasy.com. Now, Porter coming out says 12-team PPR quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, and a flex. We have Lamar at quarterback. Running back, we have Dobbins, Jamal. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, A.J. Brown. Tight end, we have Frymuth. And then we have Waddle in the flex. On the bench, we have Brees, Evans, Gabe Davis, Bigsby, Rondale Moore, Van Jefferson. Should I move Evans or Waddle for a better running back? I agree. I think in the long term, we need a better running back here. But I don't know if that's the direction we want to be taking this. I don't know if that's how we want to try to accomplish that. I would rather just drop Van Jefferson, drop Rondale Moore at the very bottom end, roster a couple extra running backs, and see if there's someone that steps into a good situation at the beginning of the season before Alvin Kamara comes back and we can no longer start Jamal Williams. I think that's plan A. Plan B is to trade a wide receiver for a fill-in at RB. But hell yeah, we're going to get CMC here at 5, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know how many drafts you can get CMC at 5. Lath coming out to say, Mason, 10-team full BBR at the 103. Would you take Tyreek, CMC, or someone else you'd consider? I would actually be going CMC plan A. If CMC goes at 2, then I think plan B is going to be Jamar Chase in a 10-team league. I don't think we go Tyreek Hill in any circumstance. It's either Chase or CMC. Abel coming out says 10-team happy BR 3rd pick. Fields, Etienne, Cup, Olave, Chase, Ingram, Ramondre, Brees, Montgomery, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Johnson, Dak, Warren, Luke Musgrave. Okay. Fine rostering 2 tight ends here. 2 quarterbacks is a little bit more iffy, but I mean, you have 2 great ones. We can play the matchups. Myers is okay to have while we are still waiting for Cooper Kupp, but once Kupp's back, then at that point, we're going to be looking to drop him, pick up a running back off the waiver wire. I like the team because with Kupp, we don't need the production at the beginning of the season. We have Olave, we have Chase. We can wait for the long-term upside of getting him back in and playing him alongside them as like a wide receiver 3. Tyler says trade A.J. Brown and Kirk for Chase and Dynasty. Hell yes. Gaunt coming out says 10-team full BBR double flex. Rate the team. We have Lawrence, Henry, Brees, Jefferson, Waddle, Metcalf, Christian Watson. This is a great I have no idea how the hell we got Derrick Henry and Justin Jefferson on the same squad, my man. Great team. If we can take like Christian Watson and a bench option and go get Calvin Ridley to stack up with Lawrence, it'd be even better. The Fiji Beneath says, forgot to mention it's a double flex 10 PBR format. Still, yes, we're still going to pull the trigger. And yeah, thank you so much for being with us for years now. I really appreciate it. And how the hell are you not a moderator yet, my man? Let me go ahead and make you a moderator. Figured you would have been by now. And do I really play DK over Olave week 1? I mean, let me pull up where I have these guys ranked. We can also look at their underdog. Ooh, real quick, sorry. You can also look at what they have on Underdog for their pick'ems. Olave's at 64.5 as his pick'em. DK's at 67.5. If JSN misses week 1, I think we go ahead and I think we... Oh my God. We'll go Cup here. We'll have CMC and Cup on the same team. God knows how this is going to play out. But... yeah, JSN misses, you play DK. If JSN plays, you go Olave. Neil says, Goddard or Waller week 1. We have Hurts and AJ already. We're going to go Waller, my friend, against the Cowboys. Robert says, have BBR where we have Allen, Chubb, Pollard, Smith, Hopkins, Waller, Pacheco, Evans, JSN, Chark, Collins, Mims, Jefferson, Singletary. What are your thoughts? Who to flex, Evans or Pacheco? We're definitely going to go Evans until we see the split in Kansas City, my friend. I really like the team overall. It's just down there at the bottom of the bench. I don't know if we want to be rostering like Chark, Collins, Mims, and Van Jefferson. Having too many of these guys that have a high floor but low ceiling, I mean, they're never really going to make a difference in your league. I'd go ahead and drop at least 2 of them, pick up 2 more running backs off the waiver wire. But yeah, great team. And yeah, I definitely play Mike Evans. Now, Tyler says 10-team BBR, 1 keeper, 1 flex. We have Lawrence, Lamb, Olave, Hopkins, Bijan, Pierce, Brees, Hawkinson, who was our keeper. On the bench, we have Ayuk, Warren, Juju, Odell, Tyler Algier. Thoughts? Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. And here I think that we are going to go ahead and see if we can make a play for Calvin Ridley. The issue is I don't want to trade Olave. I don't want to trade Lamb for him. So if we could take like Ayuk and a depth piece and make it like if we can go Ayuk and DeAndre Hopkins for Calvin Ridley in a 10-team league with one flex, I think that makes a lot of sense. But great team overall. Now Colin says 12-team happy BR format. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Fields, Diggs, Ridley, Sanders, Pollard, Pitts. Flex, Evans, Judy, or Thielen. We're definitely going to go Evans. Thielen is never in play here, my man. What's my team out of 10? And who do we start at the flex between the 3? 12-team league, I'd say it's like an 8. If it was a 10-team league, I'd say it was like a 6. And yeah, please don't think like Adam Thielen's in this tier. And Jerry Judy's not even healthy. So it's going to be a super easy spot for you to go ahead and start Mike Evans and not really have to think about it, my friend. Now we're going to go ahead. We will take Calvin Ridley at 29 to pair up with CMC and Cooper Kupp. This is the $5 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool puppy tournament. So we are highly incentivized to go through and chase the highest ceiling we can possibly get. Also, while having a unique combo, there aren't going to be too many people in this overall tournament with these 3 guys. But ladies and gentlemen, we almost have 2,000 people watching this, and we've been live streaming today for officially now 6 hours. So if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this stream. Let's get this bad boy up to 2,000 likes, or at least 1,000. Let's get this to 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Lath says, hey Mason, 10-team full PPR. I'm at the 103. Who would you take, Hill or CMC? We're going to go ahead and take CMC if it's going to be a 10-team league, my friend. Now, Abdurrahman coming out says, trade Aaron Jones and Amari for Diggs. We have Tyreek and AJ Brown. Hell yeah, I would. Assuming it's a shallower format. Now, Curran coming out says, what's up, Mason? Always look forward to the streams. Thank you, my friend. 12-team PPR where we have Hurts, Gibbs, Walker, Jefferson, Watson, Jamal. And then on the bench, we have Montgomery, Gabe Davis, Nico Collins, MVS, Hunt, Mingo, Chubb, and Jared Goff. What are your thoughts? Seems like a deeper bench overall where maybe we're okay having 2 quarterbacks. I mean, MVS is someone that I guess we can roster with the Kelsey injury. Maybe that the wide receivers just get a higher target share overall in KC at this point. Jamal obviously is an interesting player at the beginning of the season. Long-term, we'll be looking at Montgomery instead. I like the team. Just don't fall in love with any of these names and constantly be churning the bottom end of that roster. I don't want you to be rostering like Nico Collins, MVS, and Kareem Hunt over the next 3 weeks if they don't do what you want week 1, right? Like, if Hunt's not signed by the time games kick off and end, he's off the team. We can find another waiver wire option. But Blake, long-time member of the Flex, says 10-team happy BR, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Allen, Pollard, Swift, Diggs, Amari, Andrews, Lockett, Hall, London, Addison, Charbonnet, Warren, Gainwell, Bigsby. Last team this year, thanks to them, my man. We have Allen stacked up with Diggs while still having an elite tight end, while still having an elite running back, while still having upside down there on the bench with guys like Breece Hall, Drake London. Phenomenal team top to bottom. Obviously, 10-team league, everybody's going to look good, but still, great team. And definitely in this format, when we can make some 2-for-1 deals, we will, but I don't think that's a priority right now. Let's wait until we see what the DeAndre Swift role looks like. Okay, so Keenan goes. We're going to go ahead. We're just going to continue to have a unique build here overall. I'm actually going to go Joe Mixon at 44, ladies and gentlemen. So now running back, we have CMC, Joe Mixon. Wide receiver, we have Kupp and Ridley. Josh says, yo, Mason, 10-team BBR, double flex. We have Herbert, Etienne, JT. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Wilson, Watson, London, JSN. Tight end, we have Andrews. Thoughts and moves that we can make. Like the team overall, if we could trade Watson for Keenan to stack with Herbert, that makes a lot of sense. If we could take London and trade him for Mike Williams to stack with Herbert, that makes a lot of sense. We do need some backfield production at RB, so really hope that we have some running back production down there on the bench like Raheem Mostert or, Jamal Williams. Jimbo says 12-team BBR, 1 flex. We have Tua, Ramondre, Mixon, Tyreek, Waddle, Keenan, Frymuth. And then on the bench, we have Ayuk, Lockett, Elijah Mitchell, P. Ryan, Chiggy. Is Hill, Waddle a bad approach? No, especially if we have Tua. It's going to lower our floor, right? Because if Tua gets injured again, then, we're getting crushed across the entire team. but it's going to raise our ceiling as well, where if somehow you actually have Tua going out there and putting up a top, say, 5 season when it comes to his overall passing yardage, then we're going to hit on 3 separate players at once, and we're going to have an incredibly high ceiling. Okay, we have DJ Moore finally off the board at 48. Laura says 10-team PBR. We have Lawrence at quarterback. Running back, we have Etienne Sanders. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Lamb, Ridley. Tight end, we have Ingram. And then on the bench, we have Madison, Javonte, Zach Charbonnet, Johnson, Bateman. Thoughts? Plus, do I have too many Jags? No, going back to what we were talking about previously, we like making those one consolidated bets on individual offenses where we only have to get that one thing right to have massive success. So I like it. I think we have enough running back depth as well where we could potentially go through and we could potentially take someone like Alexander Madison and get an upgrade if we package him with Miles Sanders for someone else, right? Especially like to a team that maybe is lacking with running back depth right now. Maybe they drafted Kamara or Jonathan Taylor. Okay. So what is this team doing here? And where did Kelsey go in this draft as well? They go Deontay Johnson. It's going to be an easy selection for us with Breece Hall. In this kind of format, we are trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17. Kelsey went at 11 in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. I took Kelsey at 13 in the draft prior. So I want to go through and we're going to do 3 or 4 drafts tonight. Give you an idea of where Kelsey is actually valued now. Now, Corey coming out says 10-team PPR format where we have Hurts, Rodgers at quarterback. We can cut Rodgers if we want. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Brown, Williams, Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Quentin Johnson, Elijah Moore. We have the elite level tight end with Andrews. Running back, we have Walker, Sanders, Dobbins, Devon A-Chain. How did I do? And any moves. Running back depth is severely lacking here considering it's a 10-team league. That's not going to be the biggest issue in the world. I mean, we're rostering Tyreek, A.J. Brown, Mike Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Quentin Johnson, Elijah. We're rostering 7 wide receivers and only 4 RBs in a 10-team league. Generally not something we're looking to do. If we can go ahead and potentially try to package together like Gabe Davis and Devon A-Chain and go get a running back upgrade, open up another roster spot and pick up another running back to have 5 RBs and 6 wide receivers, I would like that. A great team. I mean, love the Tyreek, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts combo. Now, Prey Mantis says, hey, Mason, I need help choosing a running back 2 and a flex. We have Hall, Charbonnet, London, Warren, Dotson, Flowers. I got 4 teams this year, so thank you in advance. So thank you so much, my man, for being a member of the flock. Here, running back 2, we're not too excited about it week 1, but I do think we have to go with Breece Hall. And then for the flex spot, I think we're going to go over to the wide receiver position. We're going to go Dotson if McLaurin misses. We'll go London if McLaurin plays. Dr. Ryan Cecil says, would you buy JT for a future first in a Superflex Dynasty format? If you are confident that it's a late first, yes. If you're confident that it's a late first, let's go ahead and let's do it. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's find our next question. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me 1 second. It's going to take me a second as I find this. So, of course, as I look, please make sure you go down there, drop a like on this live stream if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And, of course, if you want to get into a draft with us, it's not too late. These are basketball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 on Underdog last year. Now is also the best time to get on Underdog because they just dropped the $5 Puppy 4 tournament. Plus, they have a site-wide special on Underdog Fantasy right now. Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a total yard for week 1 against the Lions. You have another pick'em special. Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets Monday night. And if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, get an additional mystery special pick'em. I've never seen Underdog do 2 special pick'ems the same week, let alone 3. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that ASAP. You're only going to get that with promo code FLOCK. And also, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $200 and all our premium content, including rankings. Somebody decided to go Tank Dell. So we are going to get Christian Kirk falling to us at 68. We're going to stack Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley on the same squad at a tremendous value and go all in on this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Now, Adam coming out says, 10-team, half PBR format, 3 flex, Who's the drop? We have Tyler Algier, my RB5 in the Bijan handcuff. Elijah Moore, my wide receiver 8. We're definitely dropping your wide receiver 8 before your running back 5. Mims, my wide receiver 9. Oh, yeah, no. Mims, wide receiver 9. Yeah, if you need to drop someone, you're going to go ahead and you're drop Mims. I don't want to drop our 5th running back and be rostering 9 wide receivers and 4 RBs. Adam says 12 team, a full PPR format with 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. We have Lamar, Jacobs, Dobbins, Lamb, Amari, Laporta, Mike Williams. And then on the bench, we have JSN, Jamal, Mostert, Charbonnet, Bateman on the IR. Great team. I would start Jamal over Mike Williams. Actually, it's full PPR. I don't know. Great team, and we do not have an excuse based off how good this team is and the fact that there's only one flex to not have a better tight end than that. So I would go ahead and I would do my best to try to get a tight end upgrade if we can, which I definitely think we can based off how good we are at running back, wide receiver there. Big Bro says cheering for Team 8. Yeah. Team 8 here has gone through and taken Lamar, Hopkins, Adam Thielen, Tank Dell, TJ Hawkinson, and Kyle Pitts. Team 8 wins this. I may not be able to play fantasy football anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Team 8 wins this. I'm going to have to look myself in the mirror for a long time. Okay. Thank God. How are we getting this team? I know that maybe we lit the $250 on fire in the draft before this, but this $5 draft's going to make up for it, ladies and gentlemen. Here, running back, we have CMC, Joe Mixon, Breece Hall. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Ridley, Kirk. And now we're getting George Kittle in at tight ends. Okay. Now, Journey to the Center coming out says 12-team app PBR, 3 wide receivers. We have Cousins and Dak at quarterback. We have Ridley, Deontay, Mike Williams, Lazard, Zay at wide receiver. Hawkinson at tight end. Thank God we have the running backs. We have Chubb, Henry, White, Swift, Harris. Was offered Hurts for Henry and Dak, yes or no? No, you can't do that. No. Hey, Derrick Henry's worth more than Jalen Hurts straight up, but love the team, my friend. Now, Frio Cool coming out says 10-team app PBR 1 flex. I have Lamar, Barkley, Mixon, Hopkins, Higgins, Greg Dulcich, Cam Akers. I bench Kelsey, Judy, Pittman, Thomas, Brian Robinson. Should I panic for a wide receiver? No, I will say this week, start Brian Robinson over Cam Akers. And we just really need Travis Kelce back. Kelsey comes back. It's a good team. We should start Christian Watson over Sky Moore, my man. Yeah, Dimo coming out says, should I start Watson or Moore? Go Watson. Andrew says 12-team PBR with only 2 flex spots. We have Watson, Hill, Waddle, Stevenson, Madison, Everett, Williams, Hollywood. And then on the bench, we have Breece Hall, Moore, Dillon, Tony Gallup, Knox, and Stafford. I agree we want to roster 2 tight ends if that's our top guy. I think here it would maybe make sense if we could trade Deshaun Watson and like Alexander Madison, get an upgrade at running back while at the same time getting back Tua. Because we've already gone through and we've already bet on Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle together. So might as well just triple down on said bet because it's the only way this team's going to be good is if the Dolphins are good. I like the upside guys like Tony Gallup down there on the bench. I think that they can move the needle if everything goes right. So yeah, great squad. I think it does make sense though to go try to get Tua if we already have Tyreek and Waddle. Okay, let's move this over to What is Perfect 216 doing here? They really need a running back. They only have Akers. Yeah, they go Khalil Herbert. Sutton actually makes a lot of sense for us because Sutton's going to have the role at the beginning of the season before Jerry Jeudy comes back. And we have Cooper Kupp, so we need someone to kind of cover for us, right? So let's go ahead and let's take Sutton while we still can. Okay. Now, Isis says, start, sit, Mostert or Javonte Williams this week. We're going to go with Raheem Mostert over Javonte. C-Dog says, Evans or Tony with Kelsey out. We're going to go Evans, my friend. And Raul says, thoughts in a happy VR format where we have Herbert at quarterback, Running back, we have Madison Ramadre. Wide receiver, we have St. Brown, Hill, Devonta Smith. Tight end, we have Ev Ingram. Flex, we have David Montgomery. Bench, McKinnon. I'm assuming Javonte. Mike Williams. Backup tight ends, Bigsby. Well-rounded roster where I don't necessarily think that there's anything that we need to pivot. If that's Jamal down there on the bench, I play Jamal over Montgomery. If it's Javonte, we keep it as is. I like that we have the elite level wide receivers at the top. So down there on the bench, we're not focusing on too many wide receiver depth options. And we also have Herbert and Mike Williams stacked up. Love to see it. The Fletches and Movement says, loving the daily streams. Thank you, my man. Keep on the grind. 12-team full PPR home league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. Every 2 rounds, the draft order is randomized. What the hell? Lamar, Henry, Madison, Wilson, Hopkins, Dotson, Higbee, Akers, Roquan. Henry Wilson at the top, I really like. Lamar there as well. We have wide receiver depth. League where we have to start 3. We have Akers. We have Flowers. I like the team, but I've never heard of anything like that. Have y'all heard of that? It's like a new thing people are looking to do. Every 2 rounds, you randomize the draft order. So I want to say good team, but if you pulled the first overall pick every time we were on the clock, was it really a good team? You know, like, I feel like so much of that probably just comes down to randomness. I don't like that because, fantasy football is already a game that has a lot of randomness in it. I like going through and like trying to remove as much randomness as possible. At least I do. But Problem TV says 3rd spot, we got Chase, A.J. Brown out of, I'm assuming it's like an 8-team league. There's no way we did that in a 12-team league, my man. Great team, great team. Okay. Let's move this over. Yosef says 12-team PPR home league, lots of new players. We have Lawrence, Pollard, Stevenson, Diggs, Ridley, Goddard, Walker, and London on the bench. Having Lawrence, Ridley stacked up makes a lot of sense. We have 2 running backs with a lot of upside. It is a full PPR format. Perfect. Pollard's great running back too in that case. We have the elite level wide receiver Diggs. We have a great tight end. We have a great team, my man. I don't even think there's anything we can do, right? We just got to ride with it. LeBron coming out says full PPR, Pierce, Khalil Herbert, Zach Charbonnet, or Raheem Mostert. Hate the matchup for Dameon Pierce going up against the Baltimore Ravens. They're 10-point dogs. But you probably still go ahead and you probably still take Dameon Pierce there, my friend. At least I think so. But Ben says 10-team, happy BR. Pick 4, Mahomes, Bijan, Jacobs, Higgins, Watson, Hopkins, Evans, Njoku, Frymuth, Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Marvin Mims. What are your thoughts? Great team. I like having Njoku, Frymuth on the same squad. At least one of those guys is going to work out for us. We have elite running backs at the top, and we have Patrick Mahomes. What the hell are we supposed to say here, my man? Great team. I don't even think there are any moves we can make. Joey says 10-team BBR. We have Hurts, CMC, Bijan, Smith, Watson, Kincaid, Ayuk. Okay, hopefully we have a better tight end that we can play at least at the beginning. I do like the long-term upside of Kincaid. It's just hard to imagine him actually moving the needle for us in the short term. Zach Charbonnet, Antler Eyes takes him at 114, my man. Why do I have to be drafted next to you? We got Charbonnet 116. That would have been nasty. Warren off the board. None of these quarterbacks stack for us. We'll go Dobbs so we can set up a love stack later on. Our potential stacks, we have Stafford, Russ, Purdy, Carr, and now Jordan Love. So we have Hurts, CMC, Bijan Robinson, Smith, Watson, Kincaid, Ayuk. And then on the bench, we have Hopkins, James Cook, Khalil Herbert, Addison, Davis. Should we trade CMC / Bijan for a star wide receiver? I understand the thought process here, my man, but I don't think so. 10-team league, wide receiver depth's going to be a little bit easier to come by off the waiver wire. And if you have CMC and Bijan Robinson on the same squad, it is going to be so damn difficult for anybody to stay competitive with you. I mean, that is such a good start, my man. If it was a 12-team league with multiple flex spots, then maybe at that point we'll say, yeah, let's stay a little more balanced. I mean, if we can go trade, say, Bijan Robinson for Chase, let's do it. But no, not in a 10-team league. Keep the stud running backs. Okay. Let's move this over. Mims goes off the board there, 121. Kenny says 12-team PPR format where we have Daniel Jones, CMC, Jacobs, Amari, Moore, Waller, Kirk. And then on the bench, White, Russ. Do we not have a better quarterback on the waiver wire than Russ? Freiermuth, Damian Harris, and Rashee Rice. What are your thoughts? Let's see what role Rice has week 1. If he truly is just, the backup wide receiver here and he's not running any routes, feel free to drop him immediately. Some of these other guys like Rachaad White, Damian Harris at least have upside down there on the bench. I like the team. I'd be interested to know if we had a better option when it comes to the quarterback position on the waiver wire. Then Russ is just in such a bad spot that I don't even think he's given a fair shot to compete this next year. You have the Judy injury. You have the Patrick injury. Hamler's off the roster. I don't know. Awarded Aqua says, Mason, thanks for all you do. Can you please recommend some moves? 12-team PBR double flex. Wasn't able to draft myself. I was in class. We had Watson, Pollard, Ramadre, Cup, Amari, Moore, Sutton, Freiermuth. And then on the bench, we have Russ, Brees, Gibson, Kincaid, Van Jefferson. Thanks, Bruno. Thank you so much, my man. Obviously going to be a tough spot at the beginning of the season if we are looking at the fact that we have Cooper Kupp here. We don't really know if we are going to be able to get by starting Cooper Kupp. Double flex league, wide receiver is going to be a little bit more important. At least for the beginning of the season, I wouldn't roster the backup quarterback in Russ. I would drop Russ and see if we can find another high upside running back wide receiver off the waiver wire because we may need it. Completely fine rostering 2 tight ends here with Freiermuth and Kincaid. Long term, we have the Brees Hall upside. Short term, we have enough running back production to get by. Yeah, I would just say if we don't have Kupp in the short term, and we also have Brees Hall, who obviously is set up more so for the long-term upside, I'd probably go through and look to drop Russ, pick up another either running back or wide receiver off the waiver wire, and just play the upside game with those guys. Okay. Juwan Johnson goes 134. Ben says, and Brees Hall. Okay, I'm sorry, Ben. I lost the team. Oh, yeah, this was the nasty team. Where our league mates probably just don't have a shot. Okay, so let's move this over. Bigsby off the board. We need running back and quarterback at this point, ladies and gentlemen. So nice to see the running backs falling to us here. Okay, Antler Ice on the clock goes Van Jefferson. Perfect. 216 goes Elijah Mitchell. So we'll take McKinnon. I think maybe you can make an argument that McKinnon gets a slight bump with no Kelsey if he just has more targets close to the line of scrimmage that are going to be available to him. But ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 likes away from hitting 900 likes on this live stream. So please go down there, drop a like on the stream if you have not done so already. And Eric says 12-team PBR, 3 wide receivers and a flex. Running back, we have Mixon, Javonte, Khalil Herbert. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Olave, Amari, and Ayuk. Beautiful in a league where we can start 4 of them. Was offered Christian Watson and Brees Hall for Javonte Williams and Chris Olave. Javonte to Hall, slight upgrade. Olave to Watson, definite downgrade. If it was a league with only one, you only started 2 wide receivers, then I'd say do it. But in a league where you start 3 wide receivers and a flex, I think it's a little closer and up to you. Eli says, hey, Mason, any favorite pick'ems for week 1? Hook 'em. I will look at those for you soon, my friend. To be honest, I haven't looked at the week 1 pick'ems, though. Adam says, JT on the IR, not Bateman. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what that's referencing, my man. Witcher says, 12-team at PBR. We have 1 flex, Tight end premium, we have Lawrence, Bijan, Rashad White, St. Brown, Ridley. Love the Lawrence, Ridley stack. Olave. And then on the bench, we have James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Elijah Mitchell, JSN, Tyler Higbee, Greg Dulcich, and Quentin Johnston. If it's a league that you don't have to start a tight end, but you're getting a bump up with the overall tight end scoring, I still don't necessarily think that we need to be rostering tight ends, if I'm going to be honest with you. See, I like that we don't have a starting tight end in the lineup, even if we have some upside guys down there on the bench just to see what happens. The only thing I'd say is if we can take Raheem Mostert and package him together with someone like Rashad White and send him to a team that maybe drafted like Jonathan Taylor that needs a little more running back depth early on and get a slight upgrade at running back and give up 2 starters just for one, but a better one in general, I think that would make a lot of sense. This is a league where depth doesn't matter too much for us, and we just have a ton of it. Now, Tyrone coming out says, 12-team PBR, 1 flex. We have Hurts, Brees, Dobbins, Jefferson, Smith, Hockenson, London. And then on the bench, Brian Robinson, Gibson, Johnson, and Elijah Mitchell. Any help? Nope, you got no help here, my man. I mean, that is a great, great, great team. The only thing I'd say is this week, start Brian Robinson over Brees Hall. Calvin says, 12-team league, quarterback, we have Allen. Running back, we have Ramondre and Gibbs. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Lamb, tight end, Higbee. And then the bench / flex, Watson, Dobbins, Addison, Dotson, Charbonnet, Tajay Spears, Sean Tucker. I personally dropped Sean Tucker. I mean, I liked him coming out of school, but I mean, he goes round 7 in the NFL draft, goes undrafted. I mean, for you to roster like an undrafted free agent going into the season, I mean, he made the roster, which is great news, but still, he's in a horrible offense. I dropped Sean Tucker, and I really like the team. I'd say week 1, start J.K. Dobbins with a great matchup against the Houston Texans. And if we could take like Jahan Dotson and package him with Higbee for a tight end upgrade, I think we can afford it here. Chandler says, 12-team auction, full BBR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, super flex league. We have Lamar, Allen, and Sam Howell at quarterback. Running back, we have Pollard, Madison, James Cook, Samaje Perine. Wide receiver, we have Wilson, Allen, McLaurin, Flowers. Tight ends, we have Andrews and Njoku. I love the team. I think we have a ton of value, but I will say, I mean, if we have Andrews and Njoku, you need to be going to the Travis Kelce owner right now and go, hey, man, what will you give me for David Njoku? And then go through, try to sell him David Njoku and Terry McLaurin and get the best wide receiver we can in return. Okay. Ferguson off the board. We'll take a tight end, set up a potential Titan stack for us later on. We're done drafting wide receivers with this team. Took 7 pretty damn early. You're going to go 1 more running back. Two more QBs. And maybe another tight end. We'll see. Sam Howell off the board. Quarterback going quick. Skeezer says 10-team full BBR. We have Allen, Sanders, Dobbins, Chase, A.J. Brown, Njoku, Williams, Gabe Davis, Hall, Swift, Bigsby, Bateman, Mingo, Zay Jones, Deion Jackson, Jonathan Taylor. What are your thoughts? Moves or trades you want to be making? Okay. Really, the goal is just to get by until Taylor comes back. I like the Allen, Gabe Davis stack. We have production at RB at the very top end. In the elite level, I don't think we make any moves. I think we have enough running back depth. We have the elite quarterback, the elite wide receiver production. Once we get Taylor back, then maybe at that point, J.K. Dobbins becomes a little bit expendable for like a tight end upgrade. But as it stands now, beautiful, beautiful team. Okay. Irv Smith Jr. off the board at 170. What is this team doing? This team has 3 quarterbacks. They can't take another QB. They go Hyatt, pair it with Daniel Jones, possibly. Hyatt's falling a lot in this draft. They go Greg Dulcich. We'll take Stafford to pair up with Kupp. But I'm actually going to finish this draft out on the phone. We will hop into another Puppy 4 tournament. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the tournament I would recommend if you are new on Underdog Fantasy. $5 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool. We actually had a member of the flock win a Puppy tournament last year for $75,000. So let's go ahead and let's get in here and let's get another data point on where Travis Kelce and these Chiefs wide receivers are now valued. Are we going to be at 12? We're at 11. I don't want to say too much until we're on the clock. Let's see what happens. But Steely Smith says 12-team app PBR double flex. We have Tua, Mixon, Jamal, Tyreek, Wilson, Freiermuth, Keenan, Hopkins. And then on the bench, Kamara, Adam Thielen, Tank Bigsby, DJ Chark, Van Jefferson. Rostering way too many wide receivers down there on the bench, especially if we don't have Kamara for the first few weeks. I'd look to go ahead and I'd look to possibly move on from either one of DJ Chark or Adam Thielen. Any moves are DeAndre Hopkins and Freiermuth too much for a better tight end? It obviously depends on the tight end that we're getting in return, right? The tight ends I would trade Hopkins and Freiermuth for include Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, I would. The Waller, Kittle tier is really going to be up to you. I probably don't do it. If I can get a top 3 tight ends, we will, my friend. If I can get a top 3 tight end, we will. Okay. Let's go over to our next question. This one coming out from AJ says, I'm thinking about trading Debo and Kamara for Ridley. Do it. I have Chubb and Barkley at running back, but my best wide receiver might be London or DJ Moore. Well, your best wide receiver will be Calvin Ridley. So go make that trade, my friend. I really like it. Colin says 10-team PBR format. We have Fields, Jacobs, Etienne, Chase, Amon-Ra, Evans, Njoku, Dobbins, Montgomery, Jamal Gainwell, Taylor on the IR, Kirk, Nico, Van Jefferson. We have the elite level wide receivers at the very top end. We have a nice amount of running back depth overall. I don't think there are too many moves that we look to make as of today, but long term, whenever we end up getting Jonathan Taylor back in, then we're going to go ahead and see if we can package like Dobbins and David Njoku for an elite level tight ends. We need to wait until we get Jonathan Taylor back, my friend. Now, Garrett says 12-team full PBR league where we have Burrow, Montgomery, Javonte, Jefferson, Higgins, Waller, Kelsey. Okay, so obviously we are waiting for Kelsey to be healthy, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to trade Darren Waller. But bench is Brees, Dion, Judy, Lazard, Hunt, Richardson. Should I trade Judy for JT? And hell yes. Trade Judy for JT. They're both injured anyway. I don't think we should start Deion Jackson right away. I mean, I would rather start Montgomery and Javonte. I'd rather get some clarity on what the situation is going to look like when it comes to Jonathan Taylor. Okay. Let's take CeeDee Lamb here at 11. Let's see what this team at 12 does. So just in case you're just now coming in, so far I took Travis Kelce at pick 13 in a draft. We saw him go at pick 11 in another draft. And for the purpose of science, I want to see where Travis Kelce will go in this one. So we're going to pass on Travis Kelce and see how far he eventually falls. I think Kelce early round 2 is definitely viable, but I don't want to take it myself and then have no interesting data points on where he's actually going to be going in these drafts, right? Like if I draft him, I just know where I would draft him. I don't know where other people would draft him. Okay, Kelsey goes immediately after at 15. Now, Jimbo coming out says 12-team full BBR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. We have Tua, Jefferson, Olave, Devonta Smith, Kenneth Walker, Rashad White, Kyle Pitts, George Pickens, Addison, Laporta, Mingo, Charbonnet, rate the team. I actually really like it. I'm fine if we want to roster 2 tight ends, considering the fact it's only a 1 flex league and Kyle Pitts is our first guy. I'm not a big Mingo guy, to be honest with you, but if you really are, you can go ahead and you can roster Jonathan Mingo. If we could take Devonta Smith in a small piece, like Sam Laporta or Jonathan Mingo and move for Jalen Waddle to get a Tua stack, that'd be something that I'd look to do. I don't think it's something we have to do, though. Okay. Let's move this over. Logan says, 10-team full BBR, 2 quarterbacks, Cousins, Richardson. 2 running backs are Bijan, Jacobs. 2 wide receivers, Tyreek and Higgins. 3 flex, Watson, Williamson. Perfect full BBR league where you start 5 wide receivers. We are wanting to prioritize wide receivers here, my man. Goddard tight end, and then on the bench we have Zeke, Flowers, Johnson, Elijah Mitchell, IR, JT, Kyle. Beautiful team. I'm completely fine rostering these guys if we can put them on the IR. We have the upside at quarterback with Cousins, Richardson, Kyler Murray late in the season if he comes back. We have the elite level running backs at the top, and we build around wide receiver depth in a league where we can start 5 wide receivers. Really like the team, and I don't think they're a great team top to bottom, my man. I love that. Brady says, the Sanders a solid RB2 to Derrick Henry PPR. Thanks. Yeah, I do think that you are in a good spot for Miles Sanders in that I expect his receiving down role to actually increase in Carolina in comparison to what we saw in years past with Philadelphia, just because Young's not going to run the ball as much. And also last time Miles Sanders was with his coaching staff, they did involve him a little bit more as a pass catcher. Now, Kyle says, why am I not getting the Josh Allen special on Underdog? So you'll notice if you download Underdog, use promo code FLOCK, you'll get the Patrick Mahomes special immediately. You get the mystery special pretty damn soon as well. The reason being is the mystery special is available to anybody that's new on Underdog Fantasy, and the Patrick Mahomes special is available site-wide on Underdog for everybody. So you should have those immediately. But when it comes to the Josh Allen special, this is only going to be for people who use promo code FLOCK. And since it's going to be promo code FLOCK exclusive, they're going to have to manually run it on Sunday morning, my friend, for then it to be available in your app. So you'll see it Sunday morning. Obviously, kickoff's not until Monday night, so you have plenty of time to be able to go ahead and take advantage of that, my friend. So don't worry, it's normal if you're not seeing it. And of course, if y'all want to go through and if y'all want to get 3 special pick'ems from Underdog, Allen, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets. Mahomes, more than less than half a passing yard against the Lions, and a mystery special pick'em as well. Or if you want to get in a draft with us on this live stream tonight, tomorrow, the next night, it is not too late. You can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. There's best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last season. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, promo code FLOCK will get you all 3 of those special pick'ems. And I've never seen Underdog even have 2 pick'ems in the same time in the same week. So make sure you're taking advantage. And we are 1 like away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there and be our 1,000th like of the stream. And Gene says, hey man, loving the live streams. What are your thoughts? It's an 8-team non-PPR format. We need an elite level quarterback. We need to build around running back. Lamar, Olave, Eckler, Allen, Pollard, Ingram, Sanders, Metcalf on the bench. We have an elite level quarterback. We built around running back. Perfect. Perfect, my man. I think honestly, I probably would trade like Eckler for Chubb in a non-PPR format, but that's just a quick side note. Angel says, 10-team full BBR double flex. We have Burrow, Mixon, Najee, Chase, Waddle, Pitts, Kirk, and Christian Watson. Montgomery on the bench. Should we start Kirk or Montgomery week 1? Full BBR format, I think it's going to be damn close. Probably go Kirk in a full. I could answer that 50-50. If you ask me that question 100 times, I'll give you 50 answers for Kirk. I'll give you 50 answers for Montgomery. LeBron says, should I trade Ayuk for Godwin? Hell yeah, I would. 20 says, start 2, James Cook, Gibson, Mostert. Dylan, I'm going to be going with James Cook and Mostert, my friend. Okay. Andrews to the Kelsey team. So we're going to go ahead. We will get Ramondre here to pair up with Saquon Barkley and CeeDee Lamb. Very interesting to see that team go ahead and take Andrews and Kelsey on the same build. Obviously, you never do that in your regular fantasy football league, but there's maybe a little bit of merit in a best ball tournament. Matthew says, 12-team keeper PPR. We have Allen, CMC, Henry, Amari, Hopkins, Godwin, Frymuth. And then on the bench, P. Ryan, Thomas, Sky Moore, Alec Pierce. Any ideas how to upgrade? Alec Pierce has no upside. Go ahead and cut him. Pick up another running back off the waiver wire. Outside of that, I think you're in a great spot. Having CMC, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen on the same team in a league where you only have 1 flex spot is a phenomenal situation to be in, my man. And now we're going to go ahead. I'm actually going to take Mixon as well. Just because in these Underdog drafts now with the current running back landscape, it is so much harder to find running back production than it used to be. Now, Joe Mike says, have Rodgers, Lamb, Cup, Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Olave, Pickens, and Njoku, White, Zeke, Sutton, Tony. Is Lamb for Mahomes a good trade? I would love to trade for an elite level quarterback. I'll say it's interesting to trade for Mahomes right now, given the fact that with Patrick Mahomes, now he no longer has Travis Kelce, at least for the beginning portion of the season. So it does seem like a little bit of a tougher spot. I would much prefer trading Aaron Rodgers and Chris Olave for Patrick Mahomes. Not like CeeDee Lamb straight up. Ethan says 10-team BBR. We have Jefferson, Lamb, Jalen Hurts, Walker, Sanders, Goddard, Dalvin, Swift, Addison, Sutton, and Laporta. What are your thoughts? Beautiful team. Beautiful team. Hurts stacked up with Goddard. I'm okay if you want to roster backup tight end. We have the elite level wide receivers. If we get an opportunity to sell like Sutton and a running back in a package for an upgraded RB, I think that makes a lot of sense with this build, but beautiful team. Now, WTF coming out says 12-team PPR, quarterback Josh Allen, running back White, Walker, wide receiver Williams, Olave. We have tight end Kelsey, flex Christian Watson. Thoughts also got offered Isaiah Pacheco for Rashad White. I would do it in a non-PBR format because there's more touchdown upside in KC. Full PBR, White's going to have a larger role as a receiver, so I'd go White. I think it's a strong team dependent on the health of Travis Kelce. As of right now, it doesn't seem like the Kelce injury is super serious. They're saying he most likely didn't sustain any damage to his ACL. But we'll see, my man. We'll see. Forgot to put Dustin Knox in the cover for Kelce. Perfect cover. Perfect cover. Now, Roe Jogan coming out says 12-team Matt BBR, 1 flex. We have Lamar at quarterback, wide receiver. We have Adams, Mike Williams, Deontay, Sky Moore. Running back, we have Bijan, Montgomery, Kamara, Algier, Zeke, and Hunt. Really like the team. I really like going through and I guess rostering Hunt before this, just saying, okay, if he signs, cool, we get a high upside running back. If he doesn't, who the hell cares? We'll drop him, pick up another waiver wire option that we like early on in the season. So yeah, be quick to work the waiver wire there. But I mean, also you're going to get the bump with Sky Moore and no Kelsey. If we get a sell-high moment on Sky Moore after Thursday night, it'd be interesting to look into. But love the team. I think we sit still for now. Walter says, to Cup at pick 12, my 12-team league, did I reach? I think honestly so, probably. I think if you take Cup at 12, it's probably a little bit too rich at this point. Here, Cup goes 19. Sam says 12-team BBR, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a flex, and a tight end. We have Watson, Hill, Olave, James Cook, Gibbs, Watson, and Njoku. And then on the bench, we have Anthony Richardson, Drake London, Bigsby, Roschon, Zach Charbonnet, Sky Moore. Exactly what we want to do on the bottom end of the bench. We are rostering high upside players that can actually make a difference. Kenneth Walker goes down. Zach Charbonnet turns into a league winner. Etienne goes down. Tank Bigsby turns into a league winner. Roschon Johnson maybe has a larger role than people expect. Sky Moore could potentially be the wide receiver 1 for Patrick Mahomes. Great team. I like the top end of the squad as well. If we get a sell-high moment on Richardson, don't be afraid to take advantage. But great team. Now, Julian, an OG member of the flock. He's been out here forever. 12-team Matt BBR format. Burrow, Cup, Diggs, Madison, Dalvin, Swift, Higgins, Waller. Any moves or trades you'd recommend? I personally would rather have Hawkinson over Waller if we can make that slight swap. We need Higgins now. I mean, we have Higgins stacked up with Burrow covering Cup early on. We have Cup and Diggs for the long-term upside. Great team. I don't really think there's anything we changed there, my friend. Brian says, whose upside do you believe in more, Devon Achane or Sky Moore? Probably Sky Moore now that you have the Travis Kelce injury, right? I mean, Kelsey could be fine, but it could be serious. We just don't know right now. Hayward Sports says 10-team BBR. We have Herbert, Walker, Akers, Chase, A.J. Brown, Andrews, London. And then on the bench, we have Brees, Montgomery, Michael Thomas, Tua, Elijah Mitchell, and Jamison Williams. Cut Jamison Williams if he's on your bench and not your IR. You don't want to waste a roster spot on him for too long. We have the elite level wide receivers with Chase, A.J. Brown. We really don't even need to prioritize wide receiver upside. Pick up a running back off the waiver wire instead. And beautiful, beautiful team. If we could trade London for either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen to get the stack with Herbert, I think that make a lot of sense. Or potentially go through and also look to package together like Drake London and K Makers to go get a running back upgrade if instead you want to go down that road. You have a lot of flexibility with the team that's solid in a 10-team league. Now, Devion coming out says Sky Moore, Addison, Flowers, JSN for the bench. Burrow or Fields week 1. We're going to go Fields week 1, especially with Burrow maybe not being 100%. And then if we're going to be looking down there at the bench, I would want to roster JSN over all those guys. If I had to start someone week 1, I go Sky Moore. If I want to take the long-term upside of someone, I go ahead, I take JSN. Timo says 12-team PPR, 2 wide receivers and a flex. We have Dak and Richardson at quarterback. Running back, we have Bijan Montgomery. Wide receiver, we have A.J. Brown, Higgins. We have Waller at tight end, Watson at the flex. And then on the bench, we have Pittman, Sky Moore, Gabe Davis, Tyler Algier. What are your thoughts? Love it. High upside guys down there on the bench. The only thing I'd say is if we could package together like Pittman and Montgomery and go get a running back upgrade, or like Richardson and Montgomery, go get a running back upgrade when we have this kind of depth, I think it'd be interesting. Okay, so we were thinking of going Lawrence on the way back around. But I think we'll go ahead and we'll take Chris Godwin here. Now, if it was a Best Ball Mania tournament where we had to consider where these guys went earlier in the offseason, I'd probably go Terry McLaurin because it'd be a little bit more of a unique build. Here, not a super unique build to go McLaurin. So we'll just lock in some wide receiver production while we can still get it. And Matt says, 9th pick in a 12-team league. How do we do? We have Lawrence, Barkley, Bijan, Debo, Ridley, Godwin, Pat Frymuth. We traded Andrews for Ridley. And I think we looked at this earlier, my man. My bench is Swift and Kirk. Great stream. No, thank you so much, my man. Love the team. Unless I'm losing my mind, which is 100% a possibility. I think earlier in the live stream, we looked at a team that had Lawrence that traded Mark Andrews for Pat Frymuth and Calvin Ridley. And I think it makes a lot of sense under that circumstance. Blake says 12-team PBR format where we have Fields, Amari, Hopkins, CMC, Pollard. Tight end, we have Andrews. We have Javonte in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Judy, Gabe Davis, Tony, Laporta, Addison, Warren. We don't need Sam Laporta whenever we have Mark Andrews. I'd cut Laporta, pick up a running back with upside. Outside of that, great team. I mean, having CMC, Pollard, and Andrews with an elite level quarterback in Fields. It's a really good spot. Bill says Big Dog 3 is open. Okay, we will go ahead and we'll get into a Big Dog 3 draft after this. We'll get into a $250 draft after this, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. Mike says 12-team, 1 flex league. We have Josh Allen at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek Deontay. Running back, we have James Cook, Josh Jacobs. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. The flex, Gibson. On the bench, we have Addison, Johnston, Elijah Moore, Jalen Warren, Lazard. What are your thoughts? Do we need another running back? No, you don't need another running back. We just need one of these guys to turn out to be someone that we like. So let's wait. Let's look at the role that Cook has week 1 and wait to see the role that Gibson has week 1. I was expecting to be able to find a better flex spot than Antonio Gibson on this team, but it looks like we really prioritize, the bottom end of the bench here, really only for running back upside, right? At least that's what it looks like. I'm sorry, long-term upside. Not necessarily anybody that's going to do anything for us early on. Okay. Prospect says A.J. Brown rising. In underdog drafts, yeah, half PBR, you're going to be a little bit more inclined to go with the big play wide receiver. Chase Webb says full PBR, which 2 running backs do I start? Madison, Pierce, Montgomery, Swift, or Sanders? I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to go Madison and Sanders. Long term, I think you're going to go Pierce, but it's a really tough matchup against Baltimore. And do I start a third over Amari in the flex? Not in a full PBR format, you go Amari. Margo says 12-team league, 4-point passing touchdown. We have 3 wide receivers in a flex. We have Fields at quarterback. Running back, we have Pollard, Sanders. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Amari, Mike Williams, JSN. Tight end, we have Frymuth. And then on the bench, we have Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Tajay Spears, Ty Chandler. Wide receiver, we have Nico Collins and Quentin Johnston. I like that we are prioritizing running backs down there on the bench. Even in a league where we start 3 wide receivers, and we have Adams, Amari, and Mike Williams at the top, so we're kind of chilling at wide receiver. We have a quarterback with a ton of upside as well. Great team. If we could trade Mike Williams for DJ Moore to get the Justin Fields stack, I think it makes a lot of sense. Love the construction, though. Cameron says 10-team full BBR where we have Fields, Bijan, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Higgins, Walker, Kamara, Kirk, Ingram, Dylan, Johnson, Elijah Moore, and Jared Goff. I don't think we need Goff, but if we could potentially look to sell him high after the Chiefs game, that'd be nice. I think he's going to have a blow-up performance. Great spot. We're just waiting for Kamara to come back, but we have running back production in the meantime. Tony's saying 12-team non-PBR double flex. We have Dak, Pollard, Stevenson. Honestly, Stevenson's a running back I'd look to sell in a non-PBR format because non-PBR, the only thing we care about is going to be touchdown upside. And I think Ezekiel Elliott actually takes some of those looks inside the red zone. Olave, Kirk, Gibbs. I think Gibbs also another running back that we like to sell. These are running backs that I love in a full PPR format, but non-PPR it's going to be much more difficult because you have Montgomery possibly vulturing touchdowns from Gibbs, and you don't get the bonus of his receptions. Bench is Andrews, Burks, Elijah Moore, Nico Collins, Ford, Osborne, Reed. I like that we build around running backs early. I just think that maybe we took the wrong running backs in a non-PPR format, and I would love to go through and see if we can like pivot to, another running back in that range, like sell like Jahmyr Gibbs for Travis Etienne in a non-PPR format. Okay. So let's move this back around. Dallas Goedert off the board at 79. We have a very well-balanced team here, ladies and gentlemen. Very well-balanced team. Montgomery goes pick 80. This team only has one RB. They go Rachaad White. This team has two tight ends. They can't take a tight end, so it looks like we're going to be getting Kyle Pitts at 83. Let's go Kyle Pitts at 83 for one of our tight end slots. Okay. And what are these teams doing here? What is this team doing? This team has Lawrence, Pollard, Madison, Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, Christian Watson, Sutton. There you go, Sky Moore. We're going to go Brandon Cooks for the sole purpose of us setting ourselves up with the Dallas Cowboys double stack later on, having Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks all paired together. Jake says, 10T BBR 1 flex. We have Hurts, Bijan, Rachaad White, A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, George Kittle, Christian Watson. And then on the bench, we have Dobbins, Jamal, Elijah Moore, JSN, Johnson, Kadarius Toney, and Kincaid. What are your thoughts? I'm fine rostering two tight ends if that second guy is Kincaid and the first guy is George Kittle. Love the elite level quarterback in a league with only one flex. I like that we build around the running back one. I think that we definitely want to be starting Dobbins over Rachaad White, especially the matchups that they have this week. I'd probably start Jamal Williams over Rachaad. I'd probably go, yeah, I like the team in the long term. I definitely want to be fixing the starting lineup for this week, my man. Please start Dobbins over White, and please put Jamal Williams in the flex over Christian Watson. Andrew says, have BBR, one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, and a flex. We have Nick Chubb, Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews, Herbert, Damian Pierce, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin, Alvin Kamara, Flowers, Warren, backup tight end, backup quarterback, and Jared Goff. We don't need a backup tight end. We have Andrews. Go ahead and drop him. That's kind of the value that Andrews gives you is you don't need a backup. Go big of a running back instead that has upside off the waiver wire. I'm fine if you want to roster Goff here. A team with a very well-balanced approach, right? Which is honestly kind of what we want in a half PPR league where you have two flex spots. Now, Brandon says 10T PPR just finished. Starters are Geno, CMC, White, St. Brown, Olave, Andrews, and Amari. On the bench, we have Judy, Terry, Dillon, Gibson, Johnson, Nico Collins, Elijah Mitchell. I really like the team long-term. Long-term, I think we can afford to go out there, make a 2-for-1 deal, upgrade over Rachaad White and over Geno Smith. But short-term, we're going to have to sit on our hands because both Jerry Jeudy and Terry McLaurin are injured. So we're lacking a little bit on the depth, at least for now. But long-term, that's not an issue. Andrew says, love the show, my guy. Thank you. Curious about your thoughts on the playoff week correlation for your best ball draft, something I've not heard you talk about much. Generally, I think that a lot of people are spending too much time thinking about week 17, week 16 correlation, yada, yada, yada. I think it's important at the end of the day, and it will move the needle slightly in the super large field tournaments. We're more so doing the high stakes tournaments. We won 2 high stakes tournaments on Underdog last year, where the playoff correlation matters not at all. I understand the argument in Best Ball Mania. I understand the argument in the puppy tournaments, but I'll just say on the list of importance, that thing's going to be down there at like 7 or 8 on the totem pole for me. So if we're focusing it on week 17 matchups in these best ball tournaments, in reality, I think we're going to be taking our attention and taking our focus away from things that maybe are a little bit more important. Now, Stimbo says 10 team at PBR. We have Lamar, Bijan, Walker, Wilson, Waddle, Javonte, and Evan Ingram. So we have the elite running backs. We have a nice wide receiver core, and we have Lamar Jackson. Beautiful spot. I agree. You should be nervous about Javonte in the short term. Long term, he should expand his role, though. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,100 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, help us out. And of course, if you want to get into our next draft with us, Now's the perfect time to get on Underdog because they just dropped the $5 Puppy 4 tournament. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year on Underdog. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're also going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our premium content. And I have never seen Underdog have 2 special pick'ems in the same week, but they have 3 this week. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, you get the Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard Thursday night against the Detroit Lions, the Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the New York Jets on Monday night, and if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, an additional mystery special pick'em. I've never seen them do 2 special pick'ems the same week, let alone 3, so please make sure y'all are taking advantage of that while y'all still can. Now, our next question coming out from Nick, I believe, says 12-team PPR where we have Burrow stacked up with T. Higgins. We have DJ Moore, Saquon, Pollard, Ingram, Judy, JT, Kamara, Odell, Jameson, Kirk Cousins, and Deonta Foreman. I was offered Dak Prescott and Stephon Diggs for Burrow and T. Higgins. Honestly, it's a fair deal. Can we ask the live chat which direction that they would go in? Can everybody in the chat please spam? What side would you rather have? Would you rather have Dak and Diggs, or would you rather have Burrow and Higgins? Okay. We got 1 vote for Burrow and Higgins. Diggs, Higgins, Diggs, Higgins, Diggs, Higgins, Diggs, Higgins. Yeah, so it does seem like it's split 50-50, my friend. Really tough spot. Really interesting question, though. Okay, we're back up on the clock. We need to go through and take a couple quarterbacks where we only have to draft 2 of them. We'll get the elite rushing upside with Anthony Richardson in here and hope that this team passes on Dak Prescott for us so we can stack with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, which the majority of the time will happen. But, of course, it's not a guarantee. Okay. Isaac says 12-team PPR. We have Lamar, Chase, St. Brown, Sanders, Herbert, Njoku, Garrett Wilson. And then on the bench, Charbonnet, JSN, Flowers, Penny, Hunt. Any trades we should look to make. I love rostering guys like Rashad Penny down there at the bottom end of our bench right now. That way we get the clarity on what their situation is week 1. We can potentially go through and look to cut them if we don't like it. If not, maybe we have a running back with upside. Perfect guy to have at the bottom end of the bench. We have the elite quarterback. We have the elite wide receiver production. We freaking have Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson with Lamar Jackson. My man, this is a beautiful team. Just roster as many running backs as we possibly can. Hopefully we can hit on a running back off the waiver wire. If we can do that, then we are golden. Gene says, would you rather have Eckler or Henry in a non-PPR format? Non-PPR format, I think it's going to be damn close. I think it's going to be up to you. I think you'll probably get Henry later. Asian Artifact says, hey, buddy, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex, and a super flex. We have Lawrence, Watson, Rodgers at quarterback. Running back, we have Etienne, Pierce, James, I'm assuming Jamal. Everybody, please, when it's Jay Williams, Asian Artifacts, longtime member of the flock, so I know you'll probably ask us another question. Going forward, Jay Williams, please let me know if it's Jameson. Let me know if it's Javante. Let me know if it's Jamal. You can just say their first name, and I know who you'll be talking about. Charbonnet, Jefferson, Kupp, Evans, Rondale, Johnston, Flowers, Ingram, Noah Gray with the Kelsey injury. Any thoughts? Cut Noah Gray, really no upside, my man. Love having the quarterback room that we do here. Love having Lawrence and Etienne stacked up as well. I really, really like this team. Hopefully that's Javante at RB. Since it's a start 3 wide receiver league, I definitely would drop Noah Gray to pick up another wide receiver when we have the Cooper Kupp injury because it may be hard for us to find a starting lineup there. Excuse me, says Mike Williams or Gabe Davis to the flex with Allen at quarterback. We're going to go Mike Williams just because he has such a good matchup this week. Going up against the Miami Dolphins should be a very high scoring game. Now, the Matthew says 10-team PPR where we have one flex. We have Lamar, Robinson, Pierce, Wilson, Ridley, Ingram, Walker. And then on the bench, we have London, Tony, Addison, Robinson, P. Ryan. Who do we start week 1? So our 2 running backs, I think you go Brian Robinson and Damian Pierce. Not going to be questioning that too much. 2 wide receivers, we go Wilson and Calvin Ridley. Yeah, flex, we go Kenneth Walker. I think we keep it as is, my friend. I mean, the one guy that I'd be looking to get out of here if we could would be Damian Pierce, just because he has such a tough matchup going up against the Baltimore Ravens, where they are 10-point dogs. But no, I think we're sitting with that team as is. And Trailer Park Boy says, I have Etienne, Brees, Khalil Herbert, Elijah Mitchell, Zeke. And the wide receiver, we have Diggs, Lamb, Olave, Pittman, and Sky. Should I trade Pittman for Dalvin Cook? I'm actually fine with us doing this when we have the top end wide receiver production and Sky Moore becoming a little bit more appealing. If it's a league with one flex spot, yes. Multiple flex spots, maybe no. Now, David says 8-team league, full PPR. Need help with my wide receivers since we have Cup. We also have Evans, Williams, Nico Collins, Dotson. Available receivers off the waiver wire, Michael Thomas, Lazard, Zay Flowers. Should I drop one of the guys? Hell yeah, my man. I would actually go through and drop Nico Collins in favor of Michael Thomas. The reason being is in an 8-team league, even if we have Cooper Kupp, we are still highly incentivized to go out there and just chase the highest ceiling possible and don't really care too much about a median projection. So if I'm just asking myself who has the highest ceiling possible, Michael Thomas, who the last time we saw him was a top 5 option in fantasy, or Nico Collins, the wide receiver 1 for the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with Michael Thomas there, my man. Ethan says 12-team league where we have Daniel Jones, Eckler, Etienne, Amon-Ra, Olave, Waller, Ayuk, Dalvin, Damian Harris, Swift, Boyd, Gabe Davis, Deontay Johnson. What are your thoughts? I mean, I would like a quarterback upgrade if we can afford one. I mean, the question is, what's going to be the role of these running backs like Damian Harris, Dalvin Cook, and DeAndre Swift? Once we get clarity with that and we are confident with the overall depth that we have, I mean, hell, we can do it now. I'd love to take Deontay Johnson and package him with like Daniel Jones and see if we can go get a quarterback of like the Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields tier. Eminem says, got an offer DK and Hall for Lamb and Gibson. I'm going to go Lamb and Gibson, to be honest. Assuming it's a shallow redraft format. Dish the Rock says 2 quarterback league. I have Allen and Mahomes. So I traded A.J. Brown and Mahomes for Jefferson and Herbert. Two QB format. Okay. No. I keep Mahomes. If it was a 1 QB format, I think yes. 2 QB format, no. Okay. Let's move this back around. And we are not going to be taking a quarterback here when we went Anthony Richardson and Dak Prescott. We took both those guys, so we only had to take 2, and we didn't have to take 3 here. Rodgers goes, so good for us. We'll take Devon Achane, obviously getting the bump up with Elijah Mitchell on the IR. With Devon Achane, it looks like he may actually play this week, which would be great. And Afro Boy says 10-team PBR, 4-point passing touchdown format. We have Fields, Jamal, Ramadre, Wilson, Ridley, Kelsey, Dotson, James Cook. On the bench, we have Anthony Richardson, Penny, Swift, JT, Addison. Beautiful. We have a tight end fill in for Kelsey, at least in the short term. We have the running backs with upside down there on the bench. I love it. The only thing I'd say is if we get a sell high moment on Anthony Richardson, let's do it. But it makes so much sense to have Jamal and Jonathan Taylor on the same roster, right? We have the short-term production and the long-term upside. Elijah Mitchell goes. We're going to take Jameson just because it is a best ball tournament where we are trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17. Now, Swank says, just drafted in a 12-team league. PBR, we have Burrow, Mixon, like making the consolidated bet on that Cincinnati Bengals offense and only have to get that one thing right, that the Bengals are a top team this next year. We also have James Cook, Jamar, hell yeah, Waddle, Keenan, and Njoku. The bench, we have the Denver running backs, Sky, Nico, Bateman, Warren, Dobbs. How'd I do? Love the team. If it's a league with only one flex spot, I drop Dobbs and pick up another running back off the waiver wire if we can. Or honestly, I'd probably rather have a backup tight end here if David Njoku's our main guy. I'll drop Dobbs and pick up a tight end. I think that would probably have a better chance of actually impacting our team. Okay, so John says 12-team PBR where we have Daniel Jones, David Montgomery, Alexander Madison, Kupp, Ridley, Wilson, Higbee, Algier, Warren, James Conner, Elijah, Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Hyatt. What are your thoughts? Who should play for Cup? Cut Hyatt, no real upside to make an impact for you early on. It's going to be clogging a raw spot. We're going to be harder to make waiver wire moves. So cut Hyatt's tough because we also have the Jeudy injury, right? 2 wide receivers going to be Ridley and Wilson. And then our flex will be James Conner, even if it's a nasty, nasty spot. Primetime G asking how we feel about Team 6. Let's go ahead and let's check this team out, my man. Thank you for drafting with us. So we have Bijan, Gibbs, Javonte, Kenneth Gainwell at RB. Wide receiver, we have Cup, which obviously best ball format we can get away with. Williams, Dotson to cover the short-term production from Cup. I actually probably go Mike Williams over Dotson here, my man, since you took, go Herbert over Dotson to pair up with Mike Williams since we went Williams in round 4. JSN 67 looks good now. Watson and Njoku paired up. I really like it. The only thing I'd say is I'd probably go Herbert over Jahan Dotson. Juan says, full BBR, Chase, James Cook, Dotson, or Bijan, St. Brown, and Deontay. We're going to go Bijan and Amon-Ra St. Brown, my man. Bijan and Amon-Ra. Alex says, full BBR, we have Cousins, CMC, Ramondre, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Evan Ingram, Deebo Samuel. Bench, we have London, Herbert, Richardson, Zay, Dillon, Mooney, and Conklin. I like having Richardson and Cousins paired up together. We have the high floor, high ceiling combo. Not much to say. I think it's a very well-balanced roster where there really aren't any moves to make. Yeah, I like the team. Nebula coming out says 12-team full BBR league. This is one of the best pictures I've ever seen. In terms of a profile pic, this Dalmatian sitting on like the edge of a yacht. This Dalmatian puppy, oh my gosh. It's like the best picture ever, my man. 12 slot, we have Wilson, Hurts, Najee, ETN, Pitts, JT, JSN, James Cook, Nico Collins, Brian Robinson, Rashee Rice, Jameson Williams, Isaiah Hodgins. We're just rostering too many wide receivers down on the bench. If Jameson Williams can't be on your IR, you go ahead and you cut Jameson just because you make your life very hard on the waiver wire early on in the season. So I'd cut Jameson, pick up another running back. But outside of that, I really like the team, like the elite level quarterback and the balance between running back, wide receiver at the very top. Tajay Spears goes 150. We want quarterbacks to go, ladies and gentlemen. That would be ideal for us here. Kevin says 10-team league, Dak, Eckler, ETN, Wilson, Hopkins, Sky Moore, Frymuth, Ramondre, Javonte, Jeudy. Should I trade Ramondre, Frymuth for Miles Sanders, Darren Waller? Knowing what we could then proceed to flip Darren Waller for, I'm definitely very intrigued by it. Yeah, I think we do. Because I know we can go flip Darren Waller for Hawkinson. And if it's Hawkinson, I easily do it. We're going to go ahead. We will take Komet, pair him up with Kyle Pitts, and we're probably going to draft a third tight end here as well. Like, obviously, best ball format, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be drafting more tight ends, more quarterbacks than you'd see in your regular league. Everett goes 156. What is this team doing? Taking it all the way down. Running back best, Deion Jackson. We're not looking RB. Actually, I do really like going like Dawson Knox at the very end. So we'll actually just grab a wide receiver here, especially if we need to cover for the Jameson Williams suspension at the beginning of the season. Let's move this over. And Mo coming out says Burrow, Olave, Amari, CMC, Chubb, Waller, Pollard. And then on the bench, we have Smith, Godwin, Elijah Moore, James or Jay Williams. Please, guys, let me know who Jay Williams is. There are 3 James Williams in the NFL. Bateman, White, what do you think? Great team. If we could go through and package like White and Waller to go get like Andrews, I think it'd make a lot of sense just because we have so much depth. I mean, we freaking have Devonta Smith on the bench. There's so much depth there. We got to be making a 2-for-1 deal. Teddy says starting Deontay or Cam Akers at the flex in a PPR format. Full PPR, go Deontay. The thing is, I mean, even if it's a tough matchup going up against the 49ers, when it comes to Cam Akers, I have so many concerns about this Los Angeles Rams offense with no Cup. It's going to be such a tough spot to move the ball down the field. Now, Turbo Player coming out says, quarterback, we have Hurts. Running back, we have Cook, Dobbins. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Adams, Watson. Flex, Gibson. Tight end, Andrews. And then on the bench, we have Cousins. Or maybe Christian Kirk. Is that Christian Kirk? Brees Hall, JSN, Addison, Zeke. If that's Christian Kirk, I think we're in a much better spot with our overall wide receiver depth, considering the fact that we have Kupp, we're going to need to fill in at least at the beginning portion of the season. I think this is a team that has a lot of long-term upside. Obviously, a lot of short-term hurdles with the JSN, Addison, the fact that they're not breaking out yet. I mean, with the fact that Brees Hall, you have to split with Dalvin Cook early on. I mean, with the Cooper Kupp injury. But if we have, like, say, Christian Kirk to slide in for Kupp, and then long-term, whenever we're able to go through and potentially grab a few more of those wide receivers, I think that make a lot of sense, my friend. But I think my mouse just died. So I'm actually going to take this as an advantage to charge my mouse and run and fill this up so my voice does not go out, because we're going to be live and getting in a few more drafts after this, ladies and gentlemen. So do not go anywhere. Okay, hopefully this mouse is back and ready for action, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to be live for probably another hour or so here. Back-to-back days with 8-hour live streams. But let's move this over. We have Musgrave off the board at 70. We are winning another tight end making it back, but I'm looking at like the Dawson Knox range. Now, Cozy Penguin says, have BBR 10-team league, 6 pick. We have Josh Allen at quarterback. Running back, we have Eckler, Gibbs, Metcalf, Adams, Frymuth, Sanders, Williams. The bench, we have James Conner, Jamal Williams. Great team. The thing is, if you're going to be in a spot where you have Jamal Williams down there on the bench, I mean, there are going to be so many other squads that could actually use him. I mean, the team that drafted JT, the team that drafted Alvin Kamara. So if we could go through and potentially look to sell, say, Jamal Williams in a package and get an upgrade somewhere else, specifically at, like tight end with Pat Frymuth. I mean, when we have an embarrassment of riches there where we don't even need a player like Jamal Williams, I think that's something that's very interesting to go through and at least explore. Okay, so let's move this over. And we are not going to go with a quarterback. We are running back, wide receiver, tight end through the rest of this draft, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to make our 2 picks here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hop into another draft on Underdog. Brock Purdy off the board at 177. The team after us, I don't know what they would do. Maybe they wouldn't go with another running back, but we're going to take Miller here just to make sure. And we'll take whatever tight end makes it back to us at 182. So we'll go ahead and we'll hop into another draft. And I was told that a big dog tournament just dropped. So let's go ahead and let's see if this is true. It did, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know we won the big dog tournament last year for $100,000 on Underdog. That was the largest tournament that was a $100,000 first place prize. It's only going to be, I guess, $25,000 for first place, so a smaller field overall. We are going to get in here. This is a $250 tournament on Underdog. There are 10 spots open. If y'all want to draft with us, cool. We'll go ahead and we'll draft in this. If it doesn't fill, then we'll easily go ahead and we will bounce back to a $5 tournament. So let's see how many people want to get in here. If it is not a lot, then we can easily leave this draft and do a $5 one. There are 5 spots open, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, I definitely do not recommend you to get into a $250 draft right away. Please, for the love of God, do not do that. That would not be a smart decision. That would not be a smart call. It looks like this isn't going to fill, so we will leave and we'll hop into a $5 draft. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, this is the tournament you want to be getting in. This is a $5 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool. We had a member of the flock win the puppy tournament last year for $75,000. So let's go ahead and let's get in here. And hopefully we are able to win the puppy tournament this year, ladies and gentlemen. And we left the $250 draft room. Just in case you were wanting to draft with us, please, I left. We're not in there anymore. So I would leave if you do not want to draft with non-flock members. Jacob says, I know Hurts is the QB this year, but Diggs was my round 1 pick, so I passed on him for the Allen stack. Did I make the right choice? I think that if you're looking at Allen, he's in the same tier, right? As long as you're not going through and reaching tiers on your stacks, I think you're going to be in a fine spot. So if you went Stephon Diggs round 1 and go Josh Allen round 2 is going to be completely fine. But we are in here at pick 6, ladies and gentlemen, so we should be able to make this work. And Dylan says 10-team BBR 1 flex where we have Tua, Jacobs, Ramondre, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Ridley, Hawkinson. And on the bench, we have Deontay Burks, Khalil Herbert, Daniel Jones. I'm fine rostering 2 quarterbacks if Tua is our first guy. Everett. I don't want to be rostering a backup tight end here with Everett. I'd cut Everett, see if we can pick up another running back off the waiver wire. But overall, a great team. Really, the only thing I can say is if we could potentially go through and package together like Deontay Johnson and Tua and go get a quarterback upgrade, that'd make a lot of sense. If we go Deontay and Tua and get up to like the Burrow, Fields, Herbert tier, or obviously any of the top 4, that'd be great. Now, Zane coming out says 10-team BBR. We have Lawrence, Bijan, Etienne, Brown, Ridley, Watson, Laporta. And then on the bench, we have Hall, Javonte, Jamal, Mostert, Dotson, Elijah Moore. Aside from tight end, what other moves should we make? Keep up the great work, Mason. No, thank you so much, my man. And yeah, I mean, obviously, tight end's going to be the thing that we're going for. And considering the fact that we have Hall, Javonte, Jamal Williams, and Raheem Mostert on the bench, Jamal and Raheem Mostert are guys that we're going to be looking to sell. I mean, there'll be teams that drafted Jonathan Taylor, teams that drafted Alvin Kamara that really need running back production when we just don't here. So I think it makes a lot of sense for us to go through and see if we can sell like Jamal and Laporta in a package to go get an upgrade at tight end. And then honestly, maybe even Mostert and Watson in a package, see if we can get an upgrade at wide receiver just because we can afford it and we have the embarrassment of riches. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get our guy. We're going to take Bijan Robinson here at 6, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's move this over. I think we already looked at this team, my man. I mean, you're in a great spot having Mahomes, Diggs, Waddle, Watson, Bijan, Pacheco, Goddard, Mike Williams, Evans. I really like it. Like we were saying, I don't like the trade that we made, JSN, for Pacheco just because of this format in particular where we are incentivized to go ahead and build around wide receiver. I mean, but we still do have Diggs, Waddle, Christian Watson at the very top, and we have Mahomes, right? So, I mean, it's still a very strong team. I just don't want to be selling more wide receivers for running back production in a league like this where we can start 5 wide receivers and it's a PBR format. Now, Ben says, 10-team at PBR, I have Lamar, Waddle, Watson, Bijan, Pollard, Andrews, Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Hopkins, Cooks. What are your thoughts? And who for the flex? Great team overall. Having the Lamar Andrews stack just puts you in such a comfortable position. I will say for the flex spot in a how PBR format, it's going to be a little bit tougher. If Burks were to miss this week, we're going to go DeAndre Hopkins. So, yeah, honestly, we go Hopkins for the flex there. Carson says, 12-team full BBR. We have Lawrence, Pollard, Hall, Jefferson, DJ Moore, Pitts, JSN. And then on the bench, we have Dalvin, Mitchell, Javonte, Williams, Richardson, Myers, and Laporta. I'm fine if you want to roster 2 tight ends if our top tight end is Pitts. I would love to see if we could get to Calvin Ridley when we have Trevor Lawrence. If we could sell like DJ Moore in a package with a lesser piece, such as like Anthony Richardson, and go get Ridley, I think that'd make a lot of sense. And then make sure that in the short term, we are starting Dalvin Cook there in the flex spot over Jackson Smith and Jigba, my friend. That's the adjustment that we're going to be looking to make. Okay, now Derrick Henry off the board at 17. Let's move this around. We went Bijan Robinson round 1. Cub goes. So we're going to mix it up. We're going to have a little bit of a unique build here. We're going to reach on Olave. If you look at how ADPs line up, there isn't going to be a lot of crossover between these two players. Okay, so, and ladies and gentlemen, real quick, of course, if you don't know what we're doing, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is where we've drafted every single day this offseason. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year on Underdog. And now is the best time to hop onto Underdog Fantasy because they just dropped the Puppy 4 tournament, $5 buy-in, perfect place to have some extra fun on the side. And also, Underdog has a pick'em Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night. On top of this, you have another pick'em. Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night. And then you have a mystery special pick'em if you are new on Underdog Fantasy on top of that. I've never seen Underdog have 2 special pick'ems the same week, let alone 3. So please make sure you're taking advantage. Also, promo code FLOCK. You're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $200. Our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our content. But Aaron's saying in his second team where it's only a 2 flex, 3 wide receiver league, we have Mahomes, Waddle, Watson, Ramondre, Brees, Kelce, Pittman. Here I like going after the elite level tight end a little bit more if we only start 2 wide receivers rather than 3. Godwin. And then on the bench, we have Jay Williams, Hollywood, Burks, Sky, Tony, and Algier. I like Tony. The overall thing that we need to be making here, even though we've gone all in on the Chiefs offense, is with the Kelsey injury, we do need to at least have that backup tight end. So if this is Jameson Williams, drop Jameson Williams and pick up a tight end off the waiver wire. If it's Jamal or Javonte Williams, then at that point, I think we try to package together like Hollywood Brown, Christian Watson, get a wide receiver upgrade, and then on the way back around, go ahead and see if we can pick up a tight end off waivers. Because we are going to have to play someone over Kelsey most likely this week. Just Brothers Gaming says, 14-team BBR, 1 flex. We have Hurts, Eckler, Javonte, Brian Robinson, Raheem Mostert, Charbonnet, Devon, A-Chain, Roshan, Cup, Watson, Gabe Davis, JSN, Bateman, Pitts. Any changes? 14-team league depth is going to be a lot harder to come by. And especially if we have the Cooper Kupp injury, I mean, we're not going to be able to make a 2-for-1 deal during the time being. We're also going to be waiting for a couple of those rookie running back breakouts. So no changes. I think we sit on our hands here, my friend. Now, Neil Lake coming out says 12-team 1 flex. What are your thoughts? We have Daniel Jones, Jefferson, Higgins, Etienne, Walker, Njoku, and Dotson. The bench, we have Richardson, Love, that pairing a quarterback, Hall, Sanders, JSN, Bigsby, Deion Jackson. If we could go through and package together, say like Miles Sanders and David Njoku and get an elite level tight end in return, I think that'd make a lot of sense because we do have that embarrassment of riches at running back here. But we're going to be looking for like a Hawkinson level player in return. Don't be making that deal for like Goddard. Turbid Player says it's Christian Kirk. My bad, long day. No, all good, my man. I'm so sorry about that. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can pull that back up. Christian Kirk, great spot. So we can go ahead and put Kirk in there over Cup, at least in the short term, right? Much better with Christian Kirk rather than Kirk Cousins. Jay Stevens says 10-team PBR, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. We have Fields, Mixon, Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Dotson, Higbee, Madison. And then on the bench, we have Dalvin, Sky, Johnston, Elijah Moore, Bigsby, and Mims. What are your thoughts? Beautiful team in a league where we start 3 wide receivers. Here, I'm even fine going through and rostering the high upside wide receivers down there on the bench, specifically because it is that league where we start 3 in a flex. I will say if we get an opportunity to make a 2-for-1 deal to upgrade in the starting lineup, I think it would make sense to go ahead and also pick up another tight end. If we have Tyler Higbee as our starting tight end, I do kind of want a backup tight end option there. But yeah, you're in a really good spot overall. Now we'll go ahead, we'll take Najee Harris here at 43 to pair up with Bijan, Olave, and T. Higgins. Okay. B. Skrilla says 10-team league where we have Lamar, Jacobs, Ramondre, Tyreek, Godwin, Lockett, Pitts, Dalvin, and then on the bench, Pirine, Higbee, Zeke, and Mingo. Fine roster in the backup tight end in this instance. We don't have that backup quarterback perfect. We have the top end running back and wide receiver production, a nice balance. Beautiful team overall, my friend. I don't think we change anything with the starting lineup. I don't think we change anything with the bench. Keep it as is. Vlad Shorts coming out says, howdy, 18 BBR format where we have Allen, Lawrence. If this is Josh Allen, go ahead and cut Lawrence or see if we can package him with someone else. 18 league, obviously super weird. CMC, Walker, Diggs, Ridley, Andrews. The bench is Connor, Sanders, Judy, JSN, Hollywood, London. Any thoughts? Yeah, in general, if we could take like Lawrence and go ahead and package him with maybe like Calvin Ridley, assuming this is a 1 QB league, and go get like, actually we already have stuff on Diggs, but go get a wide receiver of that ilk. Go get CeeDee Lamb, go get Garrett Wilson, go get a Monroe St. Brown. I think that make a lot of sense since we're starting Allen every week regardless of matchup. I do like that we're rostering the high upside wide receivers down there on the bench instead of high floor guys. Aiden says, I don't know about Kelsey. Should I drop? I would probably rather have Juwan there. Yeah, I'd rather have Juwan Johnson. Asian Artifacts says, when's the next meetup, my man? I've been watching the videos for years, and it would be sweet to talk football in person. We will get another Flock meetup underway, my friend, right after the season. We do one pretty much every like January timeframe in Austin, Texas. So the next one will probably be in Austin, Texas again, if I'm going to be honest with you, because there are a lot of people in Texas. It's in the middle of the country, pretty much. So I feel like if someone really, really wants to come, it's going to be the easiest trip. At least in my mind. Of course, I could be selfish and saying I don't want to have to go somewhere else, but we will have one soon, my friend. Soon. Okay, we're most likely going to be able to get Joe Burrow here because this team has Allen already and no Cincinnati Bengals. And we have Higgins, so it makes a lot of sense for us to go with Burrow. Yeah, Pickens off. Let's go ahead and let's take Joe Burrow here, 54. Smooth this over. And Gabriel says, 10-team BBR, we have Allen, Rodgers at quarterback. We move on from Rodgers. Running back, we have Pollard, Pacheco, Hall, JT. Long-term upside, short-term production, a little bit questionable. Chase, Amari, Kirk, Watson, Quentin Johnson, tight end. We have Njoku, Conklin. Really like the team. The only thing I'd say is if we could trade like Rodgers and maybe like Pacheco to get a better running back too in the short term, I think that makes sense. Cal says 10-team full BBR where we have Mahomes, CMC, Walker, Olave, Ridley, Andrews, Hopkins. On the bench, we have JT, Ayuk, Njoku, David Montgomery, Fournette, Tony, Odell. Looks like it's about that time where we possibly look to go ahead and drop Leonard Fournette. Trust me, I've drafted him a lot of best ball teams. I am crushed as well, my man. I mean, if we have Andrews, I think that what we really want to be doing is approaching the the Travis Kelce team and going, hey, man, I will give you David Njoku and Brandon Ayuk. Give me the best wide receiver you can have in return. I'll give you Hopkins and David Njoku. Give me an upgrade at wide receiver. You know, go attack one of those teams that need a tight end right now, especially that Kelsey team. Now, Big Himmel coming out says 14-team full BBR, 2 flex. We have Hurts, Madison, White, Chase, Ridley, Juwan Johnson, Johnston, and Jahan Dotson. On the bench, we have Russ, McKinnon, Charbonnet, Woods, Judy, Mims, Laporta. I think this is a team that has a lot of upside in the long term. We need Judy back, though. We need Judy back. 14-team double flex format. Depth's going to be a lot harder to come by overall. So I'm not going to sit here and say make a 2-for-1 deal. No, I think we sit as is. I will say Mims looks to be the wide receiver 2 right now in Denver, whereas Quentin Johnson looks to be the wide receiver 4 in Los Angeles. I definitely prefer Johnston in the long term than Mims, but I think this week you probably start Mims instead. Okay. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Mike Evans here, wide receiver 3, ladies and gentlemen. Nick says 8-team league, full BBR double flex. Mahomes, Pierce, Walker, Chase, Lamb, Goddard, Waddle, Deontay. And then on the bench, we have Hall, Kamara, Mostert, Gabe Davis, Zach Charbonnet. 8-team league, once we get Kamara back, we can afford to go through and upgrade tight end. It's not something we have to do. We're in a really good spot, right? But 8-team league, everybody's going to be strong at running back. Everybody's going to be strong at wide receiver. Or hell, if we can try to buy low on Kelsey somehow, some way now, and go to try to trade like Dallas Goedert and Deontay Johnson and go get Kelsey. Dallas Goedert and Breece Hall, go get Kelsey. Dallas Goedert and Alvin Kamara, go get Kelsey. Can't hurt to take a swing. I'm assuming we're going to get rejected. But you never know until we try. We never know until we try. Do like the team, though. Siraj, long-time member of the flock, says, what's up, Mason? Can you rate the team? We have Watson, Higgins, Christian Watson, CMC, Pacheco, James Cook, Andrews, Dalvin, JSN, P. Ryan, Devon A-Chain, Elijah Moore. Thanks. So thank you, my man. CMC, beautiful spot to hold us down. I mean, round 2, I'm having a hard time figuring out which direction we went with, though, my man. I guess we went maybe Andrews round 2. Like, seems like we're missing a round 2 pick. I like the upside we have at wide receiver, but we don't have like a top end stud. We have running back depth. But I think the team will be able to get by considering the fact that we have the elite level tight end. We don't need a roster backup tight end or backup quarterback here. So we can go ahead and we can prioritize running backs and wide receivers off the bench. Off the waiver wire with upside. I think it's going to maybe struggle at the beginning of the season because we don't have the truly elite level option there in the flex or wide receiver. But if we get like JSN hitting off the bench or Devon A-Chain hitting off the bench, Elijah Moore hitting off the bench, I think you could be in a really good spot. Now, Vincent coming out says, 10-team PPR where we have Watson, Sanders, Walker, Lamb, Olave, Kupp, Kelsey. On the bench, we have Tua, Kamara, Mike Williams. Should I trade anybody for a better running back? Hell no. The last thing we can be thinking about is running back right now. Whenever we're sitting with Kelsey and Kupp both injured, we're going to be trying to get by for the moment. And once we have both those players back and healthy, at that point, we can look to trade for a better running back. Now, Tuxedo coming out says, stole my league, I think. It's a 12-team league with only one flex. We have Lamar, Chase, St. Brown, Kupp, Ridley. Okay, yeah, RP your league mates. Full PPR. They have no idea what the hell they're doing. Deontay, Walker, White, James Cook, oh my gosh. We're not doing anything now, of course, but once we get either Kupp or JT back, then at that point, we'll look to go ahead and upgrade at tight end because we will have like the sickest team on the planet. Great team now, but obviously you're super pumped about the long-term upside once you get those players back in. Eduardo says lineup/trade. We have Lawrence, Wilson, Bijan, Jamal, Ferguson, Evans, London, and then on the bench, Nico, Elijah Moore, JSN, Deion Jackson, Swift, Kincaid. Should I trade Elijah Moore and Drake London for Christian Watson and Jahan Dotson? I personally would. I think Watson and London are in a similar tier, assuming this is Christian Watson. And then I think if you're looking at Dotson versus Elijah Moore, you clearly prefer Jahan Dotson, especially if we look at the fact that this lineup is struggling just a little bit in the short term, having to play someone like Drake London. I think getting in an upgrade like Dotson with the Terry McLaurin injury makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I would go ahead and I would make that pivot. And good lineup. I really hope that we hit on a running back long term because obviously, I mean, we're not going to have Jamal Williams weeks 5, 6, 7 crushing it as he is at the beginning of the season. So hopefully we can find a running back off waivers that we do eventually like. Okay, we will go with Khalil Herbert here, mixing an RB. Now, Angel coming out says 10-team PPR where we have Lamar, Bijan, Jacobs, Scary Terry, Hopkins, and then the flex we have Kenneth Walker. Tight end we have Andrews, and then on the bench we have Deontay, Dotson, Flowers, Sky Moore, Elijah Moore, Evans, and Kamara. Okay, we have literally 7, 8 wide receivers on this team, my man. We're rostering Scary Terry, Hopkins, Deontay, Dotson, Flowers, Sky Moore, Elijah Moore, Mike Evans. We can't roster 8 wide receivers in a 10-team league with only one flex spot. You need to go through. You need to try to trade some of these wide receivers. By the way, I love the team. Love having Bijan, Jacobs at running back and the Lamar Andrews stack. Great squad. But if we could take like Scary Terry and Deontay Johnson, trade him, get the best wide receiver in return, open up some roster spots down on the bottom end of the bench, we're going to be looking to make two-for-one deals like that, try to upgrade up wide receiver. Aaron says, hey, Mason, what are the receivers you target with the trade package you mentioned? If Christian Watson in Hollywood, and it was Jamal Williams, by the way. Okay, so if we're looking at like in a league where we have the flexibility where we can go ahead and trade away some depth, such as like Christian Watson and Hollywood Brown, the tier wide receivers I'd be looking at, essentially anybody that is in round 2 of these underdog drafts right here. I would say looking at especially like Jalen Waddle and above. If you can go for anybody in that range for a combo of Christian Watson and Hollywood Brown, if we have the flexibility where we can afford to go through and trade those two guys, I think that would be interesting. But Problem TV says 12-team full BBR from the 3 spot. We have Chase, Allen, A.J. Brown, Andrews, Lockett, Dobbins, Hall. I think I got great value and great upside. Hell yeah. I mean, we have A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase at wide receiver, and Allen and Andrews at quarterback and tight end. The only thing is roster as many running backs as we possibly can. I mean, because we're going to be elite at the other positions literally no matter what. So let's see if we can hit on some big-time running backs off the waiver wire. Okay. Swing this back around. And Log says 12-team PPR, we have Rodgers, Walker, Javonte, AJ, Wilson, Devonta, Pat. And then on the bench, we have Herbert, JSN, Mitchell, Myers, Kincaid, and Warren. If this is Justin Herbert, put Herbert over Rodgers in the starting lineup. If it's Khalil Herbert, we sit still. I'm fine having 2 tight ends on this team. I like on the bottom end having a running back like Jalen Warren who has upside if Najee were to go down. Yeah, good team, good team. Now, iProdigy says, would you trade CMC for Devonta Smith and ETN? Hell no, my man. Please keep CMC. And you know I love me some Philadelphia Eagles, but no, please keep Christian McCaffrey, my friend. Okay. Let's move this over. And Big Daddy O coming out says 10-team PPR, 1 flex, where we have Allen, Bijan, Gibbs, St. Brown, London, Hawkinson, Dotson, Kamara, Richardson, Pittman, Montgomery, Pirine, Kincaid, Warren, rocking no defense. So we're going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to drop someone. If we're going to drop at the bottom end of this team, it's going to be very difficult. I think maybe we drop Jalen Warren, but a much easier decision would be to go through and make a 2-for-1 deal where we could potentially go ahead and just open up the roster spot naturally. When we have Josh Allen at quarterback, we don't need a backup quarterback. So I would go ahead and see if we can trade Richardson in a package with like Alvin Kamara to go get a running back upgrade, or Richardson in a package with Dotson to go get a wide receiver upgrade for the primary purpose of opening up that roster spot for us so we can go pick up go pick up a defense off the waiver wire. Okay, so Kevin says 12-team, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, and a flex. Happy BR, we have at quarterback Herbert. Running back, we have Pacheco, Penny. Wide receiver, we have Waddle, Hopkins, Higgins, Amari. Tight end, we have Kelsey. Do I accept Mixon and Gabe Davis for Jalen Waddle? Bench running backs are Evan Hall, Ezekiel Elliott, and Jared McKinnon. 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. Going to be a little bit less inclined to do this. I do like the fact that we're picking up an additional wide receiver, though. I mean, our running back, if we only have Pacheco and Penny, I think it's a move that we can make. Generally, I don't like making trades for team needs. But I think if we were ever going to do so, it's probably in a situation like that. Okay. Now, Junior Style says 12-team PBR 6th pick. We have Hurts, Bijan, Javonte, Amon-Ra, Deontay Johnson, Juwan Johnson, McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Michael Thomas, Addison, Tony, Dobbs, Devon Achane, and Foreman. What are your thoughts? Looks like we're missing someone. I mean, looking at this team, St. Brown round 1. Oh, we have Bijan. Never mind. I'm an idiot. If we have Bijan Robinson, great team. For whatever reason, I was overlooking Bijan Robinson here. Bijan, St. Brown, Jalen Hurts, perfect trio to have out the gate. We have the depth out wide receiver. I mean, hopefully long-term, if we get a breakout from like Michael Thomas or Jordan Addison, we can make a play for a better tight end. Thank God we have Bijan Robinson. I was sitting there staring at this team going like, we don't have a round 2 pick unless we reach way too far in one of these guys. But yeah, good team. Excuser says, what are you doing? Allen and Sanders plus Swift or Hurts and Barkley? Allen to Hurts, lateral move / upgrade in my mind. Sanders and Swift to Barkley, easily Barkley. Go for the Hurts and Barkley side there. Okay. Nebby says lives in Texas and likes the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan by any means. I just think it's an elite level offense, my friend. Smelly says 12-team Superflex PPR where we have Tua, Chubb, JT, Jefferson, Evans, and Njoku, Sanders, Richardson. The bench is Judy, Khalil Herbert, Devon Achane, Chark, Tank Dell, Stafford, Dobbs, and Van Jefferson. Go ahead, drop Tank Dell, my man. Tank Dell's really not going to have the upside to ever do anything for you, especially if we have JT here. We are going to be prioritizing a little more running back depth overall. Drop Tank Dell and pick up another running back off the waiver wire. It's a good team if we can get by at the beginning of the season. Hopefully, Richardson doesn't start off slow. If Richardson hits the ground running and we have Judy coming back soon, I think we would be good. Tyler says 12-team league, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. No tight end. We have Richardson, Diggs, Wilson, Ridley, Mike Williams, London, JSN, Tony. Running back, we have Gibbs, JK, Charbonnet, Devon Achane, Elijah Mitchell, and Kareem Hunt. What are your thoughts? 3 wide receiver league. I want to build around the wide receiver position. Having Diggs, Wilson, Ridley is elite. Once we have a JSN breakout, then at that point, I think we can afford to go ahead and package together like London and J.K. Dobbins and go get a running back upgrade. But until then, we're waiting for the JSN breakout. Love it for the format. Jorge says 12-team PPR, 2 flex. We have Lawrence, Addison, Herbert, Chase, Ridley, Hawkinson, Smith, Dotson, Javonte, Bigsby, Devon Achane, Van Jefferson, Jameson, and Tank Dell. Cut Jameson and Tank Dell at the very bottom of this roster. I mean, these are guys that aren't really going to have the upside to move the needle for you at the beginning of the season. They're going to be making it very difficult to make waiver wire moves, specifically at running back and wide receivers that pop, which is what we want to be focusing in on. So I'm going to drop Jameson and Tank Dell if we can't put Jameson on the IR. Outside of that, I think it's a team that has a lot of upside at the top. Love the Lawrence and Ridley stack. Love that we have a great tight end in Hawkinson, but having Alexander Madison and Khalil Herbert as our top 2 RBs, I mean, we're in a position where we need to be rostering as many high upside running backs as possible down on the bench, which makes it even easier to drop Jameson Williams and Tank Dell. Sundown says, this is my first year of best ball. I'm at pick 10 in this draft and would love to hear your thoughts. Hell yeah, my man. Let's go ahead and let's check this out. Kelsey, Adams out the gate, completely fine with. DJ Moore, Fields stacked up, makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I love taking Kelsey and Taylor on the same squad. Obviously, a crap ton of upside in the long term, and you are optimizing for weeks 15, 16, 17, which in general is honestly the only thing that I care about and why I would do this off a live stream, but I have to pretend like I don't do it on the live stream. Dotson, 63, Connor, Pacheco, Zach Charbonnet still getting running backs. I love this team, my man. Getting Darnell for the double stack with Justin Fields. It's a team that in a regular fantasy football league wouldn't make a lot of sense, but specifically here we want to be going through and we want to just be playing for the highest ceiling possible weeks 15, 16, 17, right? Big Daddy says, no defense is the move, trust. Okay, my man, okay. Tuxedo says, second league, 12-team PPR, where we only have 1 flex. We have Herbert, Jefferson, Brown, Deontay, Lockett, Quentin Johnston, Jacobs, Dobbins, Gibson, Charbonnet, Bigsby, Zeke, and Joku Laporta. Completely fine having these 2 tight ends here. If we could trade Deontay Johnson and go get Keenan Allen, go trade Deontay Johnson and possibly get, say, Mike Williams, I think that'd be a spot that makes a lot of sense as well. Love having Jacobs. Dobbins going to be in a good spot at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I like it. The only thing I'll do is see if we can get that stack in there with Justin Herbert and one of those Chargers pass catchers. But Praven says 12-team 1 flex. We have Herbert, Tyreek, Kupp, Mixon, James Cook, and Njoku, Keenan. On the bench, we have Mostert, Drake London, Sky Moore, and Nico Collins. Love that we get the Sky bump, but I mean, if we have London and Sky, we may not need Collins. We'd have the Keenan Allen Herbert stack. We have the elite level wide receivers where I guess we actually have to keep those wide receiver depth pieces whenever we're waiting for Tyreek, right? But move Keenan Allen into your wide receiver slot, move Cooper Kupp down to your bench, and then we're going to be playing Raheem Mostert in there at the flex while we wait for Cooper Kupp to come back. Okay. But I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Jameson. We're just looking for similar to what Sundown is doing. We're looking for the high ceiling weeks 15, 16, 17. That's what we're trying to optimize for. Now, D-Ill coming out says, Mason, you're him. Huge thanks, bro. No, thank you, my man. Let me know what you think of the squad. We only have to start 1 running back, but it's a non-PBR format. I still think we are incentivized to go out there and get an elite level quarterback and hopefully running backs that we like. We have Allen, Gibbs, Smith, DJ Moore, Kelsey, Connor, Snag Kittle at 89. I pray to God that this is a league where you don't have to start a tight end, my friend. I'm sorry, that you have to start a tight end. If you're telling me that you don't have to start a tight end at all, and it's just flex spots, then to be honest with you, there's a reason you grab Kittle at 89. If it's a league where you have to start a tight ends, and they're going to make up such a high percentage of the starting lineup output based on the fact you only have to start 1 running back, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Regardless, I like the team because it's a non-PBR format where we go ahead and we take Josh Allen. So we just prioritize getting the elite level quarterback, making up such a high percentage of the starting lineup output. I just really hope that it's a league where you have to start a tight end. That way we can eventually sell one of the tight ends and get something for them. The Squint says 12-team PBR. Which 2 should I start? Dobbins, Dotson, or London? We're going to go Dobbins and Dotson, my friend. But I think that we should be through all the questions here, ladies and gentlemen. So this is most likely going to be where we cut it. We've been live for about 8 hours today total. So if you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the live stream. And the number one way you can support the channel if you want to is by going and signing up for Underdog Fantasy. Now is the best time to get on Underdog Fantasy because they have the $5 puppy tournament open, which you want to get in a few drafts before the season ends. Before the season starts. I mean, it is best ball, so no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 on Underdog last season. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our premium content. And now is also the best time to get on Underdog because they have a site-wide special. Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard Thursday night against the Detroit Lions. A Flock exclusive special. Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday. And if you're new to Underdog, an additional mystery special pick'em. I've never seen Underdog do 2 special pick'ems the same week, let alone 3. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that while you can. But thank you so much again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate y'all. And I really hope I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow afternoon.